morning, everyone. I'd like to call this Tampa City Council meeting to order. At this time, I yield to Councilmember Carlson for today's invocation.
Thank you, sir. Today we have Chaplain Tim Springer, who is from Marion, Illinois, and he graduated with a Bachelor of Arts in Bible with Biblical Languages from Southwest Baptist University in Blvd, Missouri. He went on to receive his Master's of Divinity from Southwestern Baptist Theological Seminary in Fort Worth, Texas. He is currently taking seminars toward a doctorate in ministry from Gateway Seminary, Ontario, California. He has been married to his wife, Kathy, for 26 years, and they are thankful to have 4 children, 3 sons, and 1 daughter. He wouldn't let me read the rest of this very long bio, but he's with SOCOM at McDill, and we thank him for his service and for his service especially to all the other service people who are helping our country every day.
All right, please stand for the invocation and remain standing for the pledge. Yes, sir, go ahead.
Let us pray. Majestic Lord, I humbly invoke your presence this day in preparation for Tampa's City Council meeting. I thank you for this city and for the public servants who dutifully carry out their God-given task to serve and to minister to the citizens of this town, which spans bay to bay. As a sailor in the United States Navy, I am so grateful for these public servants who welcome and receive us, the U.S. military, from our various homes of record. These devoted laborers shelter us from hurricanes, they educate our children, and they maintain the vast arrays of highways, side streets, and byways by which we traverse on a daily basis. To them, we rarely offer enough thanks. I turn now to the Holy Scriptures that remind each of us that we are to be a city set on a hill which cannot be hidden. May we set this light upon a lampstand to provide light to all who are in this house. And may we let our light shine before men in such a way that they may see our good works and glorify the Father who is in heaven. May you ever faithfully strengthen and sustain these citizen servants as they labor for the townspeople of Tampa. It's in your most holy name that I pray. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Can I have roll call, please?
Carlson. Here. Hurtat.
Here.
Clendenin.
Here.
Henderson.
Present.
Vieira. Miranda.
Here.
And Maniscalco.
Here.
We have a physical quorum.
All right. We have a lot of birthdays today, so this is not the usual course. I want to wish a happy birthday to Charlene from the clerk's office. That was Monday. Martin Shelby, our attorney, yesterday. Ron Wigington, his birthday is today, and Sulene's husband, Mike's birthday, too. I want to throw him in there, too. A lot of birthdays today. Mr. Shelby, would you like to go ahead and read the rules and procedures of public comment?
I would be happy to, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, members of council, members of the public. Martin Shelby, City Council Attorney. I'd like to just very briefly review the rules of decorum and the process for public comment today. If you wish to speak during general public comment after the ceremonial today, please fill out a speaker card, which are available outside, and place it in the box outside the door in the lobby. 1 card per speaker. Cards will be accepted until the start of general public comment, and each person submitting a card will be recognized by name by the chair to approach and speak. A 3-minute time limit applies. And please print legibly because names that cannot be read will not be called. Now, if you're here to speak on something on the agenda that is set for a public hearing, that's noted as a public hearing on the agenda, use the sign-in sheet instead at the podium outside. And if you need assistance, please see the city staff. So a reminder that speakers and members of the public are to refrain from disruptive behavior, including making vulgar or threatening remarks or causing disruptive noises or sounds or displaying signs or graphics. Speakers are also reminded to refrain from launching personal attacks against any city official, staff member, or members of the public. Please direct your comments to the board as a whole. The chair will rule out of order any person who speaks without being recognized or attempts to address the city council from outside the speaker area at the podium. And persons failing to comply with the council rules may also be ruled out of order by the chair, and at the discretion of the chair may be removed from the chambers for the remainder of today's meeting. And finally, City Council, please refrain from engaging a speaker during public comment. And the public should be aware that the City Council does not take questions or have a dialogue during general public comment. This is your opportunity to express your position to the City Council. Thank you.
Thank you very much. May I have a motion to adopt the minutes from the regular session of February 6, 2025, and the evening session of February 13, 2025? Motion from Councilmember Clendenin, second from Councilmember Miranda. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, let's go through agenda, approval of the agenda. Item number 3, there's a memo to reschedule this to April 17th under ceremonial activities and presentations. May I have a motion? Motion from Councilmember Clendenin, second from Councilmember Miranda. All in favor?
Aye. Mr. Chair, could I
Yes.
just say something quick about number 4?
Wait, let me do that, and then I'll go to you real quick. But let me just finish these
Oh,
couple
sorry, we
items.
didn't vote, sorry.
Item number 15, there's a memo to remove this item from the agenda. It will be brought back at a future date. We have a motion from Councilmember Clendenin, second from Councilmember Henderson. All in favor? Aye. Item number 50, a memo was received regarding a continuance to March 6, 2025, and that's just to schedule the hearing. The memo said that they needed more time because of, this is from the administration or the staff regarding,
I move to reschedule the hearing for April 3rd at 1:30 p.m.
no, not reschedule the hearing, but just to continue the item
Continue the
to
item.
March 6th. Yeah, and then we'll schedule it. So
Okay.
Councilmember Clendenin with the motion, second from Councilmember Henderson. All in favor? Aye. All right, item number 72. There's a memo to continue 72 to June 5th.
So moved.
All right, we have a motion from Councilmember Clendenin, second from Councilmember Henderson. All in favor?
Aye.
We have a memo from Councilmember Carlson
Can I just explain
requesting
it?
to remove item 73. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, I had made a motion, this is in regard to the Yellow Brick Road area, I had made a motion to have on the agenda to prohibit parking meters in that area. Since then, Councilmember Hurtak worked with staff to come up with a residential exception, which is item number 71. And so the 71 supersedes 73, so I'd make a motion to remove 73.
Second.
We have a motion from Councilmember Carlson, second from Councilmember Miranda. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right, there is no administration update per Chief Bennett. I will go through these items one by one. Item number 61, do we need staff present for 61? Anybody? No? No for 61. Item 62, do we need staff present? There was additional information that was transmitted. Do we need staff?
No.
All right.
Read it.
63, we have a substitute. There is additional information from Michelle Van Loan. Do we need staff here present for 63?
I'm good with it.
All right, item 64. 64. Do we need staff present? Okay, item 65?
Yes,
Yes on 65.
because we have to figure out if we're even gonna hear this, because we were supposed to hear it at the CRA,
Yeah.
and they pulled it, so I'm uncomfortable voting on
Sure,
it
yeah.
personally until CRA does, so I think we should talk about that.
All right, item 65 is a yes for someone present. We have an in-person report for 66 from Gene Duncan, so that's a yes. 67, there's a PowerPoint, so that's a yes. 68, there's a written report. Do we need staff present for that? This was a motion by Councilman Vieira.
I have to make one phone call. This will be after lunch, so I don't anticipate so, but I want to reserve.
All right,
the
we'll
right.
hold 68 until after lunch. Item 69, there's a written report. Do we need anybody
please.
present? So we have a yes on 69. Item number 70, there will be a verbal update, so that's a yes. Item 71. Yes. 72 and 73 were taken care of. Item 74, there was a motion from Councilmember Miranda to remove it from the agenda and include it in the FY26 budget. Is
Yeah,
that correct?
that's what the budget office suggested, and I agree with that. It'll all be comprehensive all at once.
Second.
So we have a motion to remove 74 from Councilman Miranda, second from Councilmember Clendenin. All in favor?
Aye.
We have written reports, I'm sorry, item 76, it's a, wait, 75, we'll receive and file it, but can I get a motion to receive and file? Motion from Councilmember Clendenin, second from Councilmember Hurtak. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Item 76 is a request to continue to April 17th.
So moved.
Motion from Councilmember Clendenin, second from Councilmember Miranda, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? And item 77, there's a motion to continue said item to May 15, 2025.
Move.
We have a motion from Councilmember Miranda, second from,
Can I ask, Councilman Miranda, what is the, can you give me some background on this? Because I was kind of confused on this one.
What it is that I think there's an ordinance in place that prohibits things being parked in front of your house.
Correct.
Like a big work truck or.
Yeah, it has to be
Yeah,
behind
and
or
then
inside.
Airbnb, in some cases, I've had complaints received to my office that they're parking not only the house or Airbnb, but then they're coming in a motorhome and parking in front of the
Front,
building.
okay.
So there's a conflict between the two items.
So we have a code enforcement issue?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
all right, so we have a motion and a second to continue, wait. I need
No,
to
and not
step-
about that item.
Okay, all right, we have a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
And that's to continue the item, Mr. Shelby?
And just a reminder, council, to request that after the end of the consent docket, without staff needing to be present, you can move 61, 62, the substitute for 63 and 64 at that time.
Okay.
Yes.
Sounds
Thank
good. Councilmember Hurtak, then I'll go to Councilmember.
Yes, I want to pull a few items. I'm sorry, I've not been well this week, so I'm a little behind. I want to pull 18 and 19 for a conversation and separate vote. I want to pull 36 for a separate vote and 49 for a conversation and a separate vote.
Okay. 36 for a separate vote.
And
then
49. I don't know that we necessarily need staff, but I believe that we, as a council, really need to start talking.
Second.
Thank you.
So 18 and 19, because they go together.
Yeah.
36 and 49.
All right, we
Second.
have a motion and a second, all in favor? Aye. And those are pulled for our own discussion, no
Yeah.
staff present. And Councilmember Carlson, you wanted to talk about item 4, and then we'll ask for an approval of the agenda.
Yeah, but before item 4, Councilmember Hurtak brought up 65 about whether it should be on the agenda or not. Should we talk about that so that people, I think we should hold it today, but instead of making people wait all day, are we allowed to talk about whether to keep it on the agenda?
I don't know whether staff, you want to have staff present for that. My recommendation would be to hold that for staff.
It would need Morris, I think, but.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's wait until we get a response, and then
So-
we'll figure out 65.
so-
So item 4?
Yeah, item number 4, there was some misinformation sent around, or information saying to people, please show up and support the Jackson House today, and when we welcome support on the Jackson House. But just for everybody watching, the Buckhorn administration ordered the Jackson House destroyed in 2013. City Council, way before I got on, saved the Jackson House unanimously. That's why it exists today. The foundation has been working on it for the last few years to try to save it. The purpose of, and this city council has, as a CRA board, put in $1 million a few years ago, and we've been trying to do everything we can to save it. The purpose of today's discussion is to have the Jackson House Foundation present their plan for renovation. So it's not, we're not going to take any action on the Jackson House today. And I, just so everybody knows, I've met with the Jackson House several times the last few days. The purpose of today is just for them to present their plan. And so as soon as the city says go, then their plan will start, which they're going to go through in a little while. But
Yep, and they're
we're
here-
all
they're here today.
we're all on board for saving the Jackson House.
All right, sounds good. And they're here today to present, so we'll hear from them shortly. Can I get
But
a,
we made a motion to pull it.
no, he just wanted to make a comment on it, that's all.
I just want, yeah.
Yeah, no, they're going to present.
All right, just
Yeah.
wanna be sure.
Yeah, nothing's pulled. All right, can I get a motion to approve the agenda and the addendum? Motion from Councilmember Clendenin, second from Councilmember Henderson, all in favor? Aye. All right, our first item is Councilmember Clendenin for the ATU Employee of the Month. Go ahead, sir.
Good morning, sir. Good morning.
Good morning, council. This is like one of my favorite days of the month because I get to stand here with one of my favorite City of Tampa persons, the president of the ATU. He represents so many of our city employees that keep the City of Tampa working. So for those of you that are listening, if the services you're being provided is, you're happy, blame him. If you're not happy, blame Guido. But I want to introduce the president of the ATU, Mr. Simon, and he's going to introduce the recipient of the ATU Employee of the Month. Mr. Simon.
Thank you, Councilman. Good morning, Mr. Chairman.
Good morning.
Good morning, Council, and good morning, City of Tampa. I'm Steve Simon, president of the Amalgamated Transit Union Local 1464, and we keep the city of Tampa running. And I'm happy to be here this morning to introduce you to the ATU Employee of the Month, Mr. Alexander Warren. Alex Warren was nominated for the ATU Employee of the Month recognition and award because of his leadership and dedication to the city of Tampa, the Parks and Recreation Department, and the community. Alex has been a mainstay over the years to the Teens Leading Change program at Gwendolyn Miller Community Center and has expanded his reach to assist colleagues with program planning and activities throughout the North Service area. He is also a member of Out-of-School Time Planning and the Stay and Play Committee. Alex started sharing his love for chess more than a decade ago and remained steadfast in his vision to bring this game of strategy to the kids at centers and playgrounds. The plan started out small, with about 3 kids in the after-school program at Gwendolyn Miller, and has now expanded to more than a dozen centers throughout the city of Tampa, reaching more than 200 kids between the ages of 7 and 17. There are quite a few staff members who have embraced the game as well. Because of the popularity of the program, Alex and some of his colleagues have organized 2 chess tournaments per year for the past 3 years with an ever-growing audience. Alex is instrumental in the Anti-Violence and Anti-Bullying Sandy Hook Promise and See Something, Say Something Club, not only at his park, but at other parks and several surrounding neighborhood schools. He is an ambassador and is recognized by the Sandy Hook Promises organization for his involvement in preparing kids for challenging situations at school and beyond. On one occasion, Alex found himself and more than 30 after-school participants in a dangerous situation. Because of the extensive preparation that he had taken the kids through, everyone remained calm and confident. Alex takes his job very serious, and it shows. This past summer, Alex stepped up as the next person in charge at the community center and playground, and he excelled in planning and leadership. As a writer, Alex has shared his passion for poetry by creating writing classes for the kids at the center and has written and performed some of his own works at events in the community. Alex continues to strive for a greater level of professional development and attends training opportunities as often as he is able to. Because of his overall involvement, Alex received an award from the community for volunteer work that he does during his own time away from the job. And due to all of this, we appreciate you and everything that you do to help keep the city of Tampa running. And so on behalf of ATU Local 1464, I would like to say congratulations on being the award recipient and present you with this award. Thank you, sir.
So, one, I feel very inadequate after hearing all of that. Is chess like checkers? I'm really good at checkers. I want to, and you also obviously must be a very popular person because we have our director, Azeele Wynn, and Tony Mulkey. Would you like to come up and say a couple words, y'all too? Yes. Come on up. Come on up, Tony.
So it is with pleasure that I stand before you and say that I am just overexcited to have Alex as part of our team. When I first was appointed to this position, Alex happened to be, you may not know this, you were one of the first people that I met to learn about what it is that we do in our centers. And I was really enthralled with the fact that Alex dedicates so much time and attention to our kids, and by exposing them to chess and to poetry, that just blows me away. Unfortunately, I asked him to teach me chess. That hasn't gone too far just yet, but we're going to work on that.
I can help you with checkers.
Okay, well, I have checkers covered. If you can help me with chess, I'm good. But I just want to say thank you. Thank you for being an integral part of our Parks and Recreation family. Thank you for making a difference in the community. And thank you for making a difference in our kids. Thank you so much. Yes, ma'am.
Good morning. I'm so pleased to be here for this well-deserved recognition. Alex is an example of going above and beyond and being very proactive in trying to move the needle with the kids in our community. So I'll keep it short and just say congratulations, well deserved. Thank you.
So, on behalf of a grateful city and Tampa City Council, represented by Chairman Guido Maniscalco and the other 6 of us, I present to you ATU Employee of the Month, Alex Warren, a Tampa City Council commendation. Thank you, sir. For you. And would you like to come up and say a couple words first? Well, you want to do this first? Okay, we can do this first. There's some people that would like to give you some things.
Morning, sir. Morning, Council. Mike MacArthur, Steps Towing Service. So you're a busy man.
Yes.
So congratulations on this award, well deserved. Thank you for everything you do for the city.
Yes, sir.
On behalf of Todd Steps Towing, please enjoy some dinner out on us.
All right.
Gift card, take some time off, you deserve it. Thank you
Yes,
for
sir.
everything you do.
Thank you. Oh, okay, cool.
Good morning, Council. Good morning,
Morning.
Alex, and congratulations.
Yes, thank you.
My name is Lori Osborne, and I'm with the Florida Orchestra. And I have to tell you, my mom was part of my hometown's Parks and Rec department, so I grew up in these types of communities,
Yes.
recreation departments, and I really appreciate what you do and how you inspire our kids.
Yes, ma'am.
I really do. So, on behalf of the Florida Orchestra, we
Yes.
would like to invite you and your family to attend one of our performances.
Oh, wow.
We look forward to seeing you there,
Thank
and
you.
thank you again for all that you
Awesome,
do.
thank you.
Good morning, Council. Good morning, Mr. Simon.
Good morning.
Mr. Warren.
Yes,
I'm
ma'am.
Grace Gonzalez.
How
I'm
you
here on
doing, Ms.
behalf of the
Gonzalez?
Gonsmart family and
Yeah.
the 1905 family of restaurants.
Yes, ma'am.
We want to thank you for investing so much time in the children of Tampa. Thank you for teaching them an international language like
yeah.
chess. We appreciate everything you do.
Yes, ma'am.
Please enjoy yourself at the Columbia, Ukulele,
Oh, wow.
Casa Santo Stefano, anywhere you'd like to enjoy. Have a night off and have some sangria.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you. Thank you.
Good morning, Council. Jill Witecki with Tampa Theater. Mr. Warren,
Yes, ma'am.
I started playing chess in elementary school
All
as
right.
well.
Great, great.
And I know the life skills that that game teaches. So thank you for all that you do. Is this your wife behind us that's taking pictures?
My wife here.
Ah,
Yeah.
excellent. All right.
Beautiful
Well,
woman,
yes, indeed. On behalf of Tampa Theater, this is an annual membership for you and your wife to come join us for all of the 1,000 things we do over there every year. We hope to see you there.
Thank you very much.
Hi, Alex. I'm Laura Taylor from Oxford Commons. I'd like to invite you and your family to one of our restaurants, Oxford Exchange, Predalina, our new one, Mad Dogs. It takes great commitment to work with kids at an early age, and thank you for investing in our community.
Thank you.
Good morning, Council. Good morning, Mr. Simon. Good morning, sir. And good morning, Alex.
Yes, sir.
I'm Brian Ford, and I'm with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And on behalf of the Glazer family and our entire organization, we have a little tradition at $1. Anybody that goes over and above gets a game ball. I'm going to give you my card because I got a little story about your game ball.
Okay.
It's not here. But this is a generic one that just says that.
I got it.
But
Yeah.
the beauty of that is you need to exchange this with me and bring
Okay.
your family and your support
Oh,
staff
wow.
because you don't do it alone.
That's right.
It's a $1 for a little tour.
That's right.
And then we're going to give you your game ball with your name on it.
Awesome.
And then secondary, I love your story and what you do for the kids and the chess program. I'd love to wait, and when you have that winner of that whole citywide thing, I'd like to present that individual a game ball. So let's
That sounds
continue
good.
that dialogue.
Thank
But
you.
Thank you for all that you
Yes,
do
sir.
on behalf of the Glazer family
Yes,
and
sir.
our entire organization for our community. And we can't have a fumble. I'll give
Oh,
you
no.
that so you have some pictures. But you got to bring that back when you come to
Will
$1,
do.
and I'll give you your game.
Sounds Can't have a fumble
Thank you,
again.
sir. There's no
All right.
fumbles.
No fumbles at all.
They tease me when I fumble.
Thank you. I know, right? Yeah.
Morning,
Sir,
Steve
morning,
McLean.
Mr. McElhaney. Yes, sir.
I brought my grandson here to help me out.
All right, not a
He was
problem.
a former employee of the Parks and Recreation Department,
Okay.
Sulphur Springs Pool.
Oh, okay.
And he had some exciting things happen over there, but
Yeah,
he's
that's
gonna
pretty
help
cool.
me with this.
Okay.
Okay, we have the meat market gift certificate for you, and you can enjoy yourself over there for $100. And this letter, don't lose these letters.
Oh, no, no.
Yummy House China Bistro, we're providing you with a gift certificate. Again, you have a gift certificate and a letter.
Awesome.
So on behalf of Jackson's Bistro on Harbor Island, $100 gift certificate. Enjoy yourself over there for lunch or dinner.
Yes, sir.
And then for Chicho Restaurant Group, we have a gift certificate for you over there, so you can enjoy yourself
Wow.
breakfast, lunch, or dinner. Their restaurants on South Howard. And last but not least, Bella Brava, gift certificates over there. I did want to point out that Nicholas was instrumental in preventing the drowning of 3 adults at Sulphur Springs Pool.
Thank you, Alex. Would you like to say some words?
Well, I've been.
Or you just want to go right to the restaurants and start eating?
Well, that will happen. I just want to thank the city council for presenting this award as well. I'd also like to thank. I also like to say there's no me. There's always a we in a situation like this. I don't want to go down the line because I'll miss names and things like that. But again, I'm very grateful. A lot of gratitude in my heart, and thank you again.
Mr. Chairman?
Yep. Councilman Moran.
Just a couple of things. Of all the things you said and all the things you've done, one really caught my ear. That's the one about conversation and be able to talk to someone. And I think that what you're doing right there solves a lot of our problems that we have today in society, because people have an inability to communicate
Yes,
to
sir.
some degree. Not all of us, but a lot of us do, including myself.
Yes, sir.
And Parks and Recreation, I remember the 2 coaches that I had, one for the boys, Mr. Andres Polita, and one for the girls, Miss Mexico, and they taught us conversation.
Yes.
It wasn't about just playing the game and winning.
Oh, no.
Playing the game and not trying to lose.
That's right.
And that's the game. But I appreciate everything you've done for Parks and Recs, and congratulations, and continue doing what you're doing. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Councilman Vieira.
You know, just briefly, when I saw the people here, I thought of an old saying from a great guy who left us too soon. His name was Senator Paul Wellstone, and he said, "We all do better when we all do better."
Yes.
And that's, yep, darn right, Alan. But yeah, that's, when I see you, that's what I think of. So God bless you, man.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, and congratulations. We're really so lucky that you're part of the City of Tampa family. Everything that you do, you go above and beyond. You make our city a better place.
Yes, sir.
What you do with the youth, what you do with the community. You know, you're a true public servant, giving back, and again, thank you. This is a small token of appreciation. We wish we had 100 more people just like you, because again, you're what makes Tampa a better place, a great place. Thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
If you don't mind, I forgot to read the letter.
Okay.
From the mayor.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Congratulations on being selected as the ATU Employee of the Month for your professionalism, strong work ethics, and for going above and beyond in all aspects of your position as a rec leader too. You have been instrumental in a wide range of youth programs, and your positive attitude make you highly deserving of this special recognition. And you are well known for your focus on the well-being of our youth and the extensive volunteer programs for you to participate in outside of your work with the City of Tampa. You demonstrate a firm commitment to the City of Tampa, Parks and Recreation Department, and to our community, and you set a shining example for others to follow. It is employees like you, Alex, that make me proud to serve as mayor. Thank you for your dedication. Mayor Jimmy.
Yes.
And Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
Thank you again.
Thank you, President.
If I may, I would just like to make a comment or announcement, so to speak, in regards to us actually qualifying for recertification. I'd like to give a shout out to the city, for helping us in this endeavor, my executive board, all of the members, because that's what really saved us. We saved ourselves, saved our unions. We live another day to be able to negotiate with the City of Tampa and move forward progressively. So thank you.
And I'll just say, Mr. Simon, what kind of hours were you working? Because I saw you 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. You were working nonstop to make everything happen. So congratulations to your leadership and your whole team, because I know you didn't stop. You didn't stop. You were just going and going and going. So thank you very much, sir.
Yes, sir, thank you. And also, just to put a little perspective on it, we realized in November that we had actually lost 600 members. So we were able to retrieve 600 members in 6 weeks.
All right.
Hard job.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Congratulations. Thank you.
All right. And Miss Wynn, before you go, happy early birthday. I know I was going down the list, and I know yours is tomorrow. So thank you very much. All right. We'll just take a moment here before we go to the next item with Councilmember Miranda. Oh, I told her, your son they deserve a record deal. They were phenomenal. Phenomenal. I could sit there all day. Did you hear? Were you in the audience? I didn't see. I thought it was just Charlie. Because when I was on the stage, the light. Let's go. I love their name. All right, Councilman Miranda, you are up for item number 2.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, honorable members of Tampa City Council. Just like the previous honoree that we honored this morning, I have one just as important, and one that at age 17 has done more than most of us have done in our whole life. I'm honored today to be here standing next to Valentina Michelini, and I'll read just a few of the things she's done. It is Tampa City Council profound pleasure and recognition to the accomplishments of Valentina Michelini, who has achieved the rank of Distinguished Honor of Eagle Scout in the Scouts of America. Part of her endeavor was performed by Oasis Nest Wildlife Sanctuary and involved building and maintaining habitat for injured animals, a long, arduous, difficult endeavor. In addition, she holds the Presidential Gold Service Award for competing and complementing working hard for 500 hours of community service. After that award, Valentina went on to compete in the additional 1,200 hours of community service in the most valuable members, vulnerable members of our community. She helped those that really need help. She has continued this effort vigorously for the last 7 years. That right there is unbelievable. In addition to all that she's managed to spend 2 weeks in a country called Ethiopia, teaching and working with orphan children. She maintains a 4.0 GPA at Hillsborough Community College and is looking towards obtaining an AA degree this coming fall. And she plans to transfer to a 4-year university and become a teacher. All these accomplishments have not been completed at age 17. Not 77, but 17. Tampa City Council wishes Valentina every possible success and good fortune in the future endeavors. Presented this 20th day of February 2025, we look forward to continuous your selfless service to this great community. And without you, we may not be that great community, and people like you will follow.
Thank you.
Hey there. One of the things I'd like to mention is that Valentina will be one of the first women to receive an Eagle Scout Award, along with her brother, who's already received an Eagle Scout Award. So when they combine the scouting into Scouts of America, she was one of the first. They may be one of the first brother and sister Eagle Scout awardees in the state. And I'm going to tell you a couple things. Nicholas volunteers on Saturday with the homeless, fixing bicycles and wheelchairs. Valentina serves the homeless, and Francesca organizes the homeless feeding, and there's about 150 to 200 individuals that are fed every weekend. And they continue doing that as a service back to this community. So they haven't stopped. So thank you.
Would you like to say something?
You can say what you want to say.
Thank you for letting me be here today and giving me this commendation.
All right. Councilman Beer.
And I did want to say something, because I've worked with this family before. You know, Steve said about the brother and sister issue there with Eagle Scout, and that's a big deal. And you mentioned the issue with homeless, and I've been out there, and I've seen Nicholas, you know, fix bicycles and all these different things, and he's a person who has such great skills, and Valentina has such a big heart out there working. I remember, you know, when folks were flooded, y'all going out to Timber Falls on 113th on what I call just a good old boy boat. It was nothing fancy, and y'all went out there and you saved people, and I hope you got your tetanus shot afterwards, because I did, you know, and but y'all got a really big heart. I mean that, and it's, you guys are really taught to serve and to give back, just because it's the right thing to do and to help people, and that's what being an Eagle Scout's all about. So just God bless you guys.
Thank you.
Councilmember Henderson.
I just want to say personally to you, I think I wrote you a note. Didn't I write you a note? Okay, I thought so. I want to say congratulations to you. There are presidents who have the title of Eagle Scout, and the girl power is shining through. I've actually attended a ceremony before for one of my past students at Jefferson, and it is really an honor to stand here before you, or sit here before you to say congratulations, because they don't give those away. Well deserved. I wish you all the success. And of course, congratulations to your mother, because she has put you on the right path.
Councilmember Carlson.
Yeah, I just wanted to say also congratulations. I dropped out at Webelos. My kids, all three of them dropped out at Webelos. I know how hard it is after that point. And so congrats to all of you for going all the way. And, you know, not only presidents, astronauts, and others, all kinds of famous people. You come from great family stock. And you're on the right trajectory. Let us know in the future how we can help you. You probably don't need any help, but if we can help you in any way to connect with what you want, the right university, we want to recruit you back. We need you all to be leaders back in the community, like your family members are. Lastly, I was lucky enough to spend time in Ethiopia a few years ago. What an amazing country. And thank you for volunteering time there. Some of the most beautiful places I've ever seen, some of the worst places I've ever seen. But thank you for your dedication there. And you probably know this, but just for the public listening, there are 2 Ethiopian churches here. And I just went to one recently, and it's like stepping into Ethiopia. It's so amazing and fascinating. Thank you.
Thank you.
Congratulations. You know, when people say the sky is the limit, now that you're an Eagle Scout, remember, you had a president, I think President Gerald Ford, Eagle Scout, and then Neil Armstrong, the first man to walk on the moon, Eagle Scout. When they say sky's the limit, you say you have Eagle Scouts that have walked on the moon. So it's really limitless, but it's not easy what you do. I remember when Nicholas became an Eagle Scout, it's a big deal. And everything's already been said. I mean, just the amount of people that you help, most recently with the hurricanes, when you feed the homeless, when you're fixing the bikes, when you're fixing the wheelchairs. I've seen your setup over the years. You do a lot of good work in the community. We're all very proud of you. You should be proud of yourselves, because it's a lot of work, and you do it, you volunteer, you do it from the goodness of your heart. So we appreciate you, and congratulations.
Thank you.
All righty. All right, we're going to take a moment. With item number 4, we'd like to welcome Dr. Carolyn Collins and her team. There is a PowerPoint presentation which we'll bring up in just a moment here, and we'll get everything set up.
While she's stepping up, I just wanted to thank Dr. Collins and her team. We've had several conversations the last few days, and they've worked really hard putting this presentation together. So hope the public looks forward to seeing it like we do.
Okay. Sounds good. No, bring it up. We just get it.
All right. Good morning, Dr. Collins. How are you?
Good morning to each of you. And this is a blessed day because I'm behind some great individuals who've just received some great accommodations. And I want to congratulate them as they're gone and congratulate you in exposing this to our city so we see the great things that people in Tampa are doing. Thank you so very much.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm going to ask the board members that are here. He like to sit down. He stand up a lot. Come on, Mr. Ryan, stand up. Mr. Williams and also Dr. Scott. I'm going to go through this PowerPoint presentation reasonably fast because we gave you a copy of it, and I don't want to put a lot of time in what you can read, but I do want to make sure that we're answering some questions. We've spoken to a couple of you to make sure that what we present to you here briefly, but before I even start the presentation and I go through this, on a quarterly basis, we are mandated by our grant that we receive from the state to submit to them a quarterly report. Twice a year, we have to update that report to maintain that grant. A copy of that I will be sending to the board so that whether we are here or not, you will get the same update and you won't have to worry about actually what's going on. It actually is extremely thorough. I literally do it day by day, so you'll have a little reading because we keep a schedule of everything we're doing to make ourselves somewhat worthy of what we're trying to do for the board is trying to do for the community. Thank you. We are committed as the Jackson House, and our focus and commitment is to preserve Tampa, Florida's national historic landmark. I have to do this when I make a presentation. I am committed because Willie Robinson, the last living and the only son of the Robinsons, came to me and asked me to do this. And he is doing what his mother asked him to do. And we have to give homage to her because she actually is the one that pursued every one of these historical landmarks at the national, at the state, and at the local level prior to her passing. That she wanted the story to be told and the house to be maintained. So that's why we are here, and we'll continue to do that. We want to preserve that history. It's not just the downtown Tampa history. It's not just this house that was off from the Scrubs. We're just trying to preserve a history that will tell the story of a family who contributed significantly, not just to music, but to economic development, for training, for education, et cetera. So we really have the interest in preserving that. Want to know exactly how we're doing it and where our next steps are is all we want to give to you brief. Not going to go through this. This is a short list of those individuals that we have collaborated with in order to do the things that we're doing. Many of them we go back to on a very frequent basis. Some of them we only go to them when they ask, and some of them actually are out of place now. Our main young man, Mr. Debbing, with Brecken Engineering, that's no longer here. So we are working with, whether it was from the city of Tampa, thanks to the CRA, Tampa Bay History Center, the Vinix family, actually that really gave us our first boost with the $50,000 that Mr. Ronnie Williams, contractor, actually did the initial stabilization of that house. And if you see all those woods, it's the stabilization that Mr. Ronnie Williams did in there. And a plethora of entities, businesses, individuals, organizations that we've worked with. We actually try to meet on a regular basis. We meet monthly. We also have bi-monthly committee meetings within that. You see the groups that we're working with, that they have gone out. We've worked with architects. We paid a contract to have an architect. Some of the information you're going to see today, and then you'll understand why you have that second document as well in your packet. We have met with council. We've met with the mayor. We've met with administrative team with the mayor on a consistent and constant basis, trying to get to where we need to get so that we don't see the house looking like it looked anymore. And definitely we do. And let me make this clear. we do not want to see the Jackson House fall down. We want to be able to go through the architectural process in the rebuild. So we need help with everybody that's willing to help it. And yes, we do meet and have recently met more frequently with the Accardis, trying to come up with a final document that you'll see in here shortly. Our goal, again, is what you see down there now, this historical landmark. We want to make sure that we can restore it. And we don't want it look like that. It looked like it, and the reason I said you'll see it, if you see all those wood crossings that's all in there that you can see from the front, that's the work that Mr. Ronnie did in 2018, 2019. So we give him credit because it was that has fought back against Debbie and all of these other storms that have come through, in addition to the extra help they had that we couldn't control. That help come from somewhere else. So where we are with this progress at this phase, we are finalizing 2 agreements. We call it one an appropriation agreement. We want to take all the money and put it into one area that we have that have come in. We have money from the county, from CRA, from the Venix, from the state, 2 pools of money from the state. The pool that we gained as a grant, $1 million, and thanks to Senator Del Roussant, Representative Diane Hart, the $500,000 that they got for the mayor to go with that, and those 2 pools of money. We want all that in one place, being financially managed the way it is now. And because we have other money coming in, that's an agreement that the city has been working on for us to bring everybody together. So we will maintain those funds, as well as the MOU that we already have that says, okay, we're going to be responsible for the funds, and whoever is that fiscal agent has got to be responsible to us. So we okay everything before, or we are scheduled to okay everything before it is spent. And then the second big thing that we're trying to get is the easement, and you'll see that shortly, but the easement is a mandate. That's a mandate that we got from code enforcement and everyone that's saying fire safety, FEMA. You gotta have it. This is a wooden house. We're gonna replace it as a wooden house currently, and we've also put some bids out there to look to see who can do it. Everybody can't work on historical homes. Everybody just can't do it. And so we've looked, we've found individuals, and we need to go back because we've got to have current RFQs, RFPs in order to do that. And currently today in your packet, you see what we literally want to put on the street, as they say. We were going to put it out there before, but we decided we would bring it here, we'll let you see it, and hopefully by tomorrow, tonight, or no later than Monday, that will be on the street where we will be doing the 30 days required, if that's what it takes with the city. We're putting it out because we're looking for an architect. Yes, we have one. He will also apply. But we're looking for someone who knows how to do this, and the state told us they will work very well with us, but to spend their funds, we can't use something that we got 3 years ago or 2 years ago, a year ago. It has to be current. So that's why we've got to go back out and do the RFQ, put it out there, find out who can come and who's willing to do the work. We've already looked and found that there's very few people in the country that can do the windows in that house. It is mandated, and we found one company. So we know we can put an RFQ out for that, or an engineer can put it out, or a contract manager, but that person is going to still have to go to the one person that we've already did the research on. We are in that process, as I indicated to you, and you have a copy of it. If you have any concerns, any modifications, any changes, any additions, we'll be more than happy to accept them for you. Mentioning early the easement, the orange sections that you see around that green building, and I didn't do those colors, orange and green, should anyone ask. But that orange section, the green is the Jackson House. The orange section is the easement that we need on both sides of the Jackson's house, on the east and the west. For people who are thinking, what is the east and the west? And the way I do it, the east side is the Amtrak is the train station side. The west side is the courthouse side. And we are required to have that for safety purposes, for fire, etc. Now, can we build on that without that? Yes. We've done enough work. We've gone to the fire. We've been to fire marshals. We've been to code enforcement. We've been everywhere we need to go. We can build. And whoever build next to us, if they come down to get a permit, they should be told that you got to stay 7 feet from each side of that house. But we can build on it, but it would be so much better if we had that easement. This is part of the documentation that we have that we're working with the Accardi's, and they call it additional land. We always call it easement because it comes with the historical language that's required because we're doing a historical renovation here. So there we are with the easement, okay. Engagement and things that we're doing. I know we've said these, I'm not gonna be repetitive. We have to go through a vetting process. We will do that vetting process, and we're hoping that about March 20th, soon as you guys, the city, say go, we are ready to put that RFP out. We have all of the places. Mr. Ronnie being a contractor have told us what to do, how to do it, when to do it, and where to do it. We're ready to move. All we need is the go sign. And I need to tell you that this, I've been asking for about 3 or 4 months. So we're taking a lead role because we're taking the whipping. People are saying what we're not doing, so this is what we are doing. We're just taking the lead. We did the RFP. We're going to go out there with it as long as we make sure that the city say, okay, that's okay, and the state says it's okay. So Mr. Theo Smith at the state will look at it, the city will look at it, and it's ready to go. And you have eyes on it now. The quarterly meetings, we just wanted to mention those for you. And I understand Florida Sunshine, so we'll tell you that's when we do it. We do meet every other Monday. I've invited a board member to attend those meetings whenever. If any of you guys want to join on, it is what we call it's virtual. It's not in person. But we're going to resume the community meetings so that the community can ask the questions of us, see what we're doing. We stopped them with COVID. Now we're going to resume, and the first one is you see the schedule. We are doing them quarterly. We're doing them on the second or first Saturday of each month at 10 o'clock, and we're doing them very short, give you a little bit of a kind of semi-breakfast brunch. And the first meeting is already set up. It's on March the 8th. It's at the Carver City Lincoln Garden, and we're not going to have it in the same area. We're going to try to carry it around the city so that it'll be in the community, so when people want to come out, they'll be able to come. We are there for them, and they're more than willing to attend and ask us questions. What we're doing in phase 1 through 5 here, 5 is when you all are coming with us to help cut the ribbon, and we ask all of you guys to be there. But the first phase is where we are now, and that is to get these RFQs out there so that we can get the bidding process started and we can take a look at the scope of work. The scope of work has been identified, stabilizing the floors. You can forget that. We got to redo the foundation. It's called scaling and stabilizing the walls. Well, it's peeling down on the outside of what. So every one of those 9 scope of work items that have been identified in our grant that we had to do with the state, we're complying them while we also upgrade them and bring them up currently to what the current requirements are. And from that point on, we're going to go into foundation. We are not putting a timeline on it because we know that we've got to get codes, approval, et cetera. This is one of the simple initial getting started, laying out. So the work has been done. Not only do we have this, but we went into the house. We marked things. We have taken them out. We are paying for them. They were fumigated, they were cleaned, and they were put in storage. They are stored. Somebody said, what is the percentage of what came out of the house that you need to save? That's not my balls whack. Mine is to know that once we get the architect and the engineers on, they know what the percentage, they can go in and look at what we have. And the city and the county both have been very instrumental and assistant. They were originally storing it. And so from the bricks from the chimney to the walls in the house, to the doorknobs, et cetera, everything that we can reuse has already been put in storage. It is there, and we are paying on a monthly basis to make sure that it's kept in pristine state. Just another kind of layout drawing of what the architect has already put together. We have a whole layout of this. So it's not like we've not been doing anything. We have been doing it. We just have a couple of things, as you heard earlier, that may have been limiting where we go with it. So our goal is to be consistent with our vision, our mission at the Jackson House, and that is to restore the history to inspire future generations. I don't know of another way that we can move faster except asking everybody to help. People ask why you guys are not asking for money. We have law firms that have us come and do presentation to them. They give us donations. We have people just go in on our website and give us donations. Money is not what we need money. We need money. We need money. Everybody needs money. But money is not exactly the critical piece here. The critical piece here is what can you all do as the council to help us here in the city of Tampa move this national historic landmark forward and get the things. And I must admit, thanks to the council that I have spoke to, and I know I've spoke personally, at least with 3 of you, and to the others, we're still coming because we want to talk with each of you and answer your questions. We want to know what can we do to make sure that those 2 major things that we have, and we've had offers, we've got to do appropriation for the millions of dollars that we have now to move forward so that we make sure that we are being held accountable. I want anybody to walk in any day and audit what we're doing. And I don't want you to find, and I'm going to say this publicly now, Jackson House is not writing the checks for this. The Jackson House Foundation purposefully agreed way long time ago with Mr. Vinnick, and we put it in the Tampa Bay History Center's hand so that where they had their CFO, it would be managed from there. Do we look at everything? Yes. Do we sign off? We're signing off on everything that's given to us, and we're also looking at all of the contracts, and we have an MOU where there's 3 of us that sign off. But we are not handling the money, and whoever handles the money, we want them to be held accountable for every brown penny. And we want to be able to have you hold us accountable for that as well. If I'm not mistaken, I'm at the end. So have you had any questions?
Thank you very much, Dr. Collins, for your leadership. I have 110% faith in you and your board. I know that you're going to get this this very significant, important historical home restored. Next month is going to be 10 years that I had my first conversation as council member-elect with Mayor Buckhorn, and the first question I asked him was, what about the Jackson House? And I've always been fascinated with the home, the history of the home, the significance of the home. It was just over 4 years ago that I toured the home, and you mentioned Mr. Ronnie Williams regarding all the wood beams that are inside keeping the house up. I walked through the 2nd floor, the 1st floor. I'll show you the pictures. It's beautiful inside. It's very colorful. It's frozen in time because it's a piece of history. So you see a lot, like the fuse box is the original box from 50 years ago. I mean, there's so many elements, but I have complete and total faith that you and your team are going to get this done with your partners. I'm behind you 150%. I know it's been a long time coming, but it's in good hands, and I know that this is going to come to fruition. So thank you, Councilmember Carlson.
Yeah, thank you so much, Dr. Collins, and your team. You have a whole group of people that have been working hard on this, and this answers, I think, the question that community's been asking us for more than a year. What's the plan to save it? And so now, from now on, if anybody, every time it rains, every time wind comes by, people say, why isn't the city saving the Jackson House? And I think the fact that you're doing this here and that you're presenting this shows everybody we're all legitimately trying to work together to save it. And so thank you for all that. As we're going through the presentation, and you guys put more detail in than you even told me about yesterday, but which I appreciate. But what I wanted to do today is just show the plan. But somebody's going to ask the question, what's the holdup? We need a more detailed plan, which the architect will give. And my suggestion to them is that they I wanted them to include the RFP here so we could see it, but I think they should put the RFP out more quickly so that we could get a detailed plan, and that'll help us show the public what we can do. If if they don't have the funds exactly for that, I was suggesting that she come back before the CRA. Maybe the CRA could, it's not gonna be very much for that stage of it. The other thing is in terms of the easement, there's been a lot of like back and forth on that. Part of it is that Elise Drumgo, who was here, spent a lot of time negotiating that. That deal was approved by council and maybe in the CRA months ago. There was some misinformation about the deal. The deal was that the CRA would provide for a DOT cutout to allow another entrance for the Accardi property because they own all the property around it. And the CRA paid, I think, $1.5 million. The misinformation was that some folks said, well, the city is trading the alleyway for this right-of-way. What the CRA did was to pay for that cutout with DOT in exchange for the right-of-way. But that contract has a stipulation that it's dependent on the vacation of the alleyway. Just so everybody knows, before Marty stops me, the vacation of the alleyway is quasi-judicial. And so the city cannot give it. It's a decision of city council sitting in a quasi-judicial format. We have to decide that based on the evidence in the room. It can't be part of any deal. It can't have any, somebody can give evidence about the Jackson House, but it would be there. You all know also that when a vacation happens, you outline, Dr. Collins, the space around the outside, but your portion of the alleyway also, if the vacation occurs, would in theory go over to, so where the tree is in the back, to the left there would be some portion of the alleyway that would go to the Jackson House as well. The holdup is that the only holdup now is that the Accardis have to apply for the vacation of the alleyway. They're afraid that the foundation will oppose it, and so they want the foundation to agree in advance that they'll support it. And so that's the last piece. Without going into a lot of detail, that's the last piece that has to be worked on. And I've committed to try to work with the foundation. I talked to Jason Accardi, I talked to his representatives, and I think we're not that far. And I think that we can resolve this quickly if we all work together and make everybody happy. And then if simultaneously the foundation works on the plan with the RFP and the architect, we'll have a detailed plan. The architects I talked to, and these are not people that have studied it, but they've talked about it, say that we're gonna have to peel all the pieces apart and then put it back together. And so there may be a time where there's nothing there and the people in the community will panic. But we've got to take it apart to rebuild it. And so, and try to reuse as much of the original documentation as we could. Last thing is that I just want to reiterate again what I said earlier. This is the letter that I showed a couple months ago when this came up. But Marty, could you pass one of these to Dr. Collins? Dr. Collins, I think you have this, but this is the letter from the Buckner administration that said November 13, 2013, that they were going to tear it down. This is the first time I met Willie Robinson. He gave me this letter, and it was Wednesday, the week before Thanksgiving. And what this says is the city was going to tear it down the Saturday after Thanksgiving, presumably when nobody was paying attention, and they were going to fine Willie for tearing it down, and also the code enforcement fines. And so I think she's putting it on the overhead. But it was Linda Salsena came in the next day to City Council, and I think probably the only person that was here is Charlie Miranda. So thank you to him for helping to save it. I was not here, but City Council saved it from being torn down. And then shortly after, Dr. Collins and her foundation stepped up. And so it's been a long road to try to fulfill the dream of the Robinson family. But more importantly to me, I think the Jackson House tells a story that my kids know, and I hope every kid growing up in the future knows, which is that not only was there famous music and famous people there, but when African Americans left, even war veterans, when they left Tampa Union Station, they couldn't stay in white hotels. And this is the last important piece of Central Avenue. We need to preserve that history. So thank you all for doing that.
Thank you. Councilmember Condon.
Yes. Hi, good morning. Thank you for coming this morning. We get constantly, I'm sure you know, we get bombarded by questions about the Jackson House. I'm a little concerned that I think that, one, I mean, how did we get here? It's been so long in the coming, and for not a lot of things happening. So, and I know you can't go backwards, but it's my concern is I don't see a lot of proof positive steps. It seems like you guys are missing a project manager. Is there a project manager for this?
It's a project manager, what they call them, construction manager. The state has asked us to ask Mr. Ronnie Williams he can stay on the board if he doesn't get paid, or to step off the board because he knows the project, and to have him be that. We will get a project manager. Tampa Bay History Center had someone that was working with them that was somewhat kind of serving that purpose with them, because it is not, at this phase, day-to-day management is not just the Jackson House. We thought it would be fitting and prudent to bring in other individuals. So we've been using OTB consultant to answer some of those questions, but they are not that construction manager. And to be upfront with you, there is a component missing because I've written twice, 2 years in a row, I'm doing it again now, for a grant. I am not the executive director for the Jackson House. I'm not a director for the Jackson House. I chair the board and I share my life to do this for the last 10 years. So we're trying to make sure that we could find, I had a gentleman call me from California, say, what you need? I say, why don't you give me enough money so that we can get an executive director or director, somebody that could be there and do day to day, you know, almost like on a full-time basis. So I'm still pursuing that, because with a construction manager that will actually bring in all these people. And Ronnie, if I'm Mr. Williams, if I say it wrong, is it possible to have that engineering firm or that architect firm make sure that they hire that person on or have that serving with them?
Do you want to come on up, sir, so we can get you on the microphone?
Well, let me inject, because it just seems as though, I mean, I hear what you're saying, but it seems as though a project manager would be much more of a all-encompassing, you know, be able to put together all of these elements for you all and help you guide this entire project for all the components. So a professional project manager seems like that would be a great way to facilitate and maybe alleviate some of the frustration that I'm sure you're experiencing with, you know, from folks, and some of the frustration that the elected folks and other else that has a vested interest in this. So I mean, I would encourage anybody that's listening to help facilitate you guys getting a professional project manager, somebody who's, you know, capable of doing this type of work and understands the nuances of working with the different government agencies, the historic preservation, and the sensitivities that this project involves to get this thing done. And I think that probably would be a catalyst to help you all out, is my advice.
And you're right, Ms. Running, from that perspective, just the project manager piece, if you could just.
Well, I think he's speaking of project management before construction starts. And OTB consulting has been providing some of that service. Trying to get all this information together and develop a plan to get us to the point where we can start construction. But
Yeah, so that's why you are right, because that's what we've decided.
Right.
But before we go with a project manager, design plan, they've indicated to us, we have one on what we want the house to be, so that when that individual come in, they get the project manager, and they can run it with everything. And you're absolutely right. No matter what we do, we want the community to understand one critical piece. We can tear the house down now. We can rebuild the house with cement, bricks, et cetera. And once the house is completed, part of the completion, you wouldn't see the bricks. You'll see a facade on the outside, which would be the wood siding. It'll look just like the old Jackson House, but it would also do a major thing that we do not want to do. We would lose the historical designation.
Well, like I said, I feel like even on the front end of this, if you guys maybe look at that and talk to some folks about maybe that may again be the solution to this problem. I'm sooner rather than later. Thank you.
Thank you.
Henderson.
Thank you, Chair. Appreciate it. Good morning, Dr. Collins. How are you?
Morning.
Can you put up the rendering, that the future rendering as a visual? I want to ask you, so you've answered a lot of different questions, but I want to get very specific if you can answer these questions.
Can you bring the slides up, please? That's what they told me to ask.
Yeah.
Yeah, just the rendering of what
Okay.
the Jackson House should look like.
All right.
First of all, thank you for all of the work that you've done, as well as the board. I know it's just not you alone.
Yes.
Is it coming up?
It's coming up.
It's
Lisa's
coming up. I
just
saw
gone
it
to-
here.
Okay.
Yes, coming up.
The one piece that you discussed this morning was that you are in more recent conversations, with the Accardi brothers and the surrounding property. Not that one, the actual slide of the, what it's supposed to look like.
There it
There, that's good enough. Okay. So we know that the Accardi Brothers owns the surrounding, parking lot property around the property. And for the Jackson House, in completion, to have, for visitors to have accessibility, that back piece, can you explain what that is?
Okay. The back piece on this section that it looked glassed in, that is a section that we could do what we want because that section of the house could be torn down.
Yeah.
It's not a part of any of the historical designation. It was a piece that Willie Father added on. So it's not required. So rather than tearing it down to have continuity to the house, what we did is just took that section and we had two options when we first started talking with the architect. Tear it down, give us 3 to 4 parallel parkings facing each other, or let's do something else. Because of the size of the house overall, and we're going to lose some of the rooms with some of the design plans, we decided that that would be the reception area. That's where people will come in, that's where the elevator is gonna be. And so that would be the entrance of, the main entrance and the, what they call ADL access. And so that ramp you see is running up to go into that room, and that's what that is. Now, behind that is the tree and the reference that Councilman Carson made reference to, is if we close, if the alley is vacated, and yes, we did oppose to vacating the alley in the past.
Because you couldn't get to this part of the property.
Well, once we vacate the alley, we can lose the back.
Exactly.
And,
Okay.
and to be honest, how are we gonna get back there? That's why we need the
That
easement.
is my exact question.
Because
Is
with
this
the easement, we can come
Dr.
drive.
Collins, I'm trying to get very specific with you. What is the holdup with the Accardi brothers that's preventing this from happening? Because you can't give up the vacation of the land. That is a problem. And so that negotiation, what is it that they're asking of you? Why can't you all get that part done? Because it should have been done a long time ago. And I know that's very bold, and I don't want to put you on the spot, from a legal standpoint, but there is something. This is the missing piece right here, because we should be moving forward. And if you can't say it, just go ahead on and say that you can't say it. What is it in their agreement or whatever you're negotiating that's preventing this from happening so that we can move this project forward?
We're trying to take that out of their agreement now.
That's exactly what I wanted to say. It's just a parking lot for them. What is it? What is the concern for them? Can you address that? Or maybe they can address that, but can you address it from a legal standpoint?
Well, they were willing to be here with us today, and I think maybe the attorney may have been here, but here's the issue for us. The easement we asked for was for 20 feet on the east and west side of the house. Then we went down to 15 feet, and then we are now at 10 feet easement on each side. We want to be able to get the easement, even if the easement is given to the city, to move things post haste. Give the Jackson House the easement. We will take the hit. And we will give up the back access to the house.
You can't give up the back access. If you give up the back access, then what is the purpose of the celebration and the entryway of welcoming people and making it a viable space that is?
We will gain a little bit more in the back, but we will have what we need on the side.
Okay.
And I will say, and I'm going to say this, the state said, where's your city on this historical project? Is your city supporting you? And I've heard the support from each and every one of you. I've gotten the support from the mayor. The administrative team at the city, everybody is supporting.
Is the Accardi brothers supporting you?
The Accardi brothers is now
It's just
talking with us
parking lot
again.
space.
And it would be nice if we could buy, which we would like to pay it for. We will buy the
Have you
easement
offered
in
that
the
to
back. We will lease it for.
Have you offered them
We
to
have
buy
offered,
some parking lot
over the last
space?
3 years, since we got these plans almost drawn, we've offered everything to everybody to try to do what is necessary. We have now decided, in December of 2023, I'd had offering. And I decided to say to the board and the architect, give us 2 plans. One with the easement and one without. And I will tell you, the one without is losing the historical designation, building a brick house so that we won't have a wooden house that they say explodes in fire in 20 minutes compared to brick. That's why you have a 0 lot line downtown Tampa that is 2 hours. The Jackson House been there since, well, I'm gonna round it off. We've been there since 1899 or 1900. The codes went in effect in the state of Florida in 1950, 1954. The Accardis purchased the property in 2012. Somebody help me understand. What happened
Please
to
stop
our
talking.
7 feet easement on the left and right, the east and west? And even if there was a waiver, as we can go all over this city and see waivers, there's some houses that are being built now that are not 7 feet. I understand that Ybor City and maybe some other areas have been given waivers of 3 feet, but we don't even have the 3 feet there. And we were there first. And we're not blaming the city. We're not blaming the Cardi because they purchased it. All we saying is, please help us get what we need so that we can move forward. And are we willing to make an ultimate sacrifice, guys? The ultimate sacrifice for us to get that house built so we don't have another Debbie and all those other people coming along is to give up we'll agree to vacate the alley, give us the easement now, but we want the easement today so that we can get started.
I really appreciate you saying that publicly, and, giving some
And
background.
I'm working with Jason Accardi. I've met with John and the Accardis and their attorneys and all, and they writing back and forth with us, with one of our attorneys that's working with us. But right now, I'm talking with Jason, and Jason literally calling me every week, and I'm now.
And saying what?
Where are we? Are you ready to sign this? And I said, no.
Sign what?
Sign the agreement.
What kind of agreement? Is it
Agreement that
non-disclosure?
they've
Can you
given
not
us.
share
Yes,
it?
it has a non-disclosure in
What
there, and we can't share it with you or the lawyers or
Why?
anyone else. You have to ask the Accardis. That I can't answer. But I'm working.
So they want you to sign a non-disclosure agreement that you can't make public because it's a non-disclosure agreement, which is obviously challenging for this board.
And it's challenging for my board.
Okay. Well, it needs to be known. It's just time to play hardball a little bit, but I really appreciate it. I, just don't want to dance around it. Your presentation was great, but the meat of moving forward is this piece right here that has to be resolved. And I know that, it is private property, and really it's about it. A lot of goodwill is going to have to take place. And I don't know what it's going to take to make that happen, but like you said, this is, I think the crazy part for me, and the thing that I struggle with as a council member is that, this is the land where they permitted the enslaved to live after emancipation. And so the few remaining structures as a city, it's not a black thing, it's a city thing. The few remaining structures, whether you're private or public, it doesn't matter. Everything in our power to preserve historical black spaces is important because we fight for other things and we give away a lot of black spaces. And so this is really incredible to me that this project really is being held up by something that you can't even talk about. That's what it sounds like to me. And so, I'm just going to leave it at that. I don't want to take up too much time, Chair. I appreciate you giving me this.
Councilman Vieira Carlson.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair, and we obviously appreciate, I know I do, Councilwoman Henderson's perspective as talking about the symbolic and real living history and how, we've seen so many parts of black history attacked locally and statewide and nationally, and we live in a time where things like that aren't just being undermined, they're being attacked. And so, having this today in February, Black History Month, but in the year 2025 is, I think, a real big thing. You know, we in our city of Tampa, we have to promote the Tampa history, our Black history, names like Garland Stewart and Delano Stewart and Arthenia Joyner and Robert Saunders and Francisco Rodriguez, and names that we don't talk enough about like Robert Johnson or Martin Chambers and folks like that. And that's important, and that's what the Jackson House really means, obviously. You know, God willing, and I do mean God willing, because I think that this is on the side of decency. You know, we can have big movement on this where we can erect this and have it in the proper space with respect. And I know in the county commission, County Commissioner Gwen Myers is also working on a African American History and Arts Museum. And you know, these two things, along with everything else, can really provide for the city of Tampa and for Hillsborough County such a great statement on where we stand on that moral issue. That history that is painful and acute and represents wounds for too many Americans, that is representative today in injustice and indignity for people today, are things that we're going to talk about and incorporate in our policies. So I say that to say, Doctor, that, you know, all 7 of us 100% support this. I know we have $1 million set aside, I believe it is, in the CRA for this. And I think city council members would say that any other amount that we can give to help out to make sure that this is preserved, we'll do it. Because, you know, every time I know all 7 of us pass by that structure, it's pretty, it's the fact that that building is still up. We got to write Pope Francis and report a miracle. You know what I mean? So I mean that. But again, ma'am, thank you so much for all your work. And has been said, we stand by you 100% on this. Thank you.
Councilman Carlson.
Yeah, this is our colleague, Councilmember Henderson, talked about saving black spaces. This is an important, as I said earlier, it's an important black space we need to protect. And in fact, 2013 City Council saved this from being torn down. We showed the letter a few minutes ago. At the same year, at the same time I got this letter from Willie, I also promised him that I would work to help, similar to the promise that Dr. Collins gave. Dr. Collins and many of the board members knew him better than I did. But we did a lot of things over the years to try to save it. I was part of an effort to try to restore it before the foundation got over it, and I passed out the letters last time, but the Buckhorn administration also stopped that. So we had, the reason why it's taken so long, one, we had an administration that wanted to tear it down, and then the last 4 years, we've been going back and forth on this. This council or the previous one have spent 5 years, I think, working on this, and it's frustrating for us because we've been pushing it, and we're trying to get to a conclusion. I think we're down to a negotiation, and I hope that we can keep everybody at the table after this conversation. The conversations I've had over the last 2 days are really good. Jason Accardi is on a cruise ship right now. In the Caribbean. So I talked to him on the phone yesterday as he was about to get on, but he was not available. He sent Steve Michelini, who maybe we'll ask to say something in a minute. I also talked to his attorney yesterday, and what they said, Dr. Collins apparently can't talk about that document. Maybe Steve brought a copy of it. But what Jason said to me and his attorney is it simply says that they want the Jackson House Foundation to agree in advance that they'll support the vacation of the alley. That's an agreement between them. The city and CRA have nothing to do with that. But I think that if when Jason comes back, if we can get everybody to talk together, maybe we'll try again. By the way, Elise Drumgo spent months and months and months before he left trying to negotiate this, and he went back and forth to all the officials. And I talked to Abby last night about some of the conversations she's had. I know Morris has been involved in it, and so it's not a lack of effort of everybody trying to come together. But what we need at this point is for everybody to come to the negotiation table and make things happen. We're not going to get 100% of what we want, but if we hold out, think about the Accardi's position. They have a lot of land, and one of the criticisms of them is they don't develop it. They can sit on the land forever if they want. Their business is parking. And so they can wait out this city council, they can wait out this administration, they can wait out the next administration, and the Jackson House would fall down. They obviously are trying to work with us to save it because they're negotiating something. They're not negotiating everything that we want, but they're negotiating something. And if we can get that as the starters, at least we can save it because the next storm is going to tear it down.
Why do they need a vacation of that alley? Why?
Excuse me, sir.
I'm sorry. I'm out of order and I apologize.
I don't, that's up to them, and also Marty's probably gonna cut us off because we'll have to sit in a quasi-judicial discussion to talk about that, and we'll have to discuss that separately. Typically, when a property owner owns all the property around an alley, we give the vacation anyway. So again, we're not, the deal was not, we're not trading the alley for this, for this area. We traded that cutout and the money we gave to DOT for it. The alley vacation, though, is a requirement of their final approval to allow us to move forward. But I think all of that is going to move forward. So should we?
No, Mr. Michelini has signed up for public comment. The presentation was for the Jackson House Foundation. If he wants to speak,
The other
3
thing,
minutes.
I should say, what's your name, Ronnie? Could you just tell us your professional credentials too? I think Councilmember Clendenin was asking a lot of good questions, but just, I don't know that you said your name, but can you also just tell your professional credentials real fast so people know?
I'm a general contractor. I've been licensed in the state of Florida since 1989, and I've done lots of construction and construction management in the city of Tampa.
So he's on the board and he's been.
Let me add something to him because he's so nice and kind. Ronnie, when we looked for a contract and bidded to get someone to stabilize the house, he surfaced to the top. We selected him. He stabilized the house. His excitement in the stabilization was the history that he saw in the house. He told us things in there that we didn't even know. So a couple of years later, I went to Ronnie and I said, you know, you're not working now. You're not doing anything on the house. Would you come and be on our board? And he said, yes. So he's that voice that I agree that you talked about, but we are fortunate because not only do I have him every month, I can call him any time of the day or night. This is coming up. What we do, Mr. William, I don't know Ronnie for me, but Mr. William here, and I'm asking him. So he's in essence his own form of a contract manager for us on the board. So we are not liking that, but we think the project needed overall. That's why I agree with you. But we do have access to Mr. Ronnie. We have access to an attorney on our board. We have CPAs on our board who say, no, we are not going to do that, and yes, we're going to do this. So yes, we are, and and if I can say nothing else, thank you, Mr. Ronnie, and Dr. Scott here, who came on with us a little less than a year ago and just worked herself to no end, and she's just been voted recently in as the vice chair of the board. But hear this, that house sits at 851 Zack Street today. It was not the address a few years ago when Mrs. Robertson Willie's mother had to sign something, and I think it was 839 Zack. The house never moved, the address changed. That house sits at 851, and I promise you guys, another storm will not come. I'm talking with Jason now, again, because I met with him 3-4 years ago. We sat down at tables and we met and talked together. So Jason asked to speak with us on Thanksgiving, and we're talking together again. And I need Jason to understand how important this easement is for us to move. But if we don't get it, folks, we're going to go ahead and we're going to have to lose money that we have, try to raise some more, but it would be cheaper to build a brick house and put a facade on the outside. And we will see the Jackson House again in downtown Tampa than to build that historic structure. And my heart desire, if we don't need to go to that. But I promise you, if the good Lord spare my life and let me get back off that plane from DC this weekend, we're moving forward. We can't afford to wait. I am so grateful to Councilman Carson that met with us. I'm grateful I had the opportunity, I'm singling them out now because I know it's sunshine, so I can do one at a time. Councilwoman Henderson, and I had an opportunity to stand and talk with, unofficially, Councilman Miranda at an event and talk. And each of them all said the same thing. You need to be able to move it forward. We need to see the house move. What is the holdup? What can we do to help? And I just have the confidence in the others of you that you have the same commitment. So I know that you guys are committed to it. And I can tell you our board is at 200%. Doesn't bother me none to stay up 5 o'clock at night and get up at 8 the next morning to try to be down here on time. People say, why you always late? Because I forget to go to bed. And I can promise you, it's not Mount Pleasant. It's not FAMU. It's not my family. It's the Jackson House. And they ask me what I make. I make $1 million a year. I've been doing this for 10 years. Ain't nobody have paid me yet. I do want to say, I got into this because of Chloe Coney. The same time he said what the Mayor Buckhorn said, I called Mayor Buckhorn. I went and talked to him. I said, we're going to take this on at NAACP. Don't tear that house down. So everybody was on him. But then I get a call from Chloe Coney, CC, and she going to tell me that Kathy Castor want me to do something for her. And she want to talk to me, and I had a good relationship talking with Congresswoman Castor. That's what it is. She said, save the Jackson House. So it's a lot of pressure on me to do something that I get paid $1 million a year for, and my payment is going to be when we see that house up.
Dr. Collins, I have complete and total faith in your leadership. I know you're going to get this done. I have no doubt, you and your team and all the partners involved. So I know we're going to see it sooner than later. Thank you very much. Councilmember Clendenin.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, reference the alley vacation. One, I appreciate the fact that what you brought forth is that you're creative thinking, that you'll get it done regardless one way or the other. I also don't like the feeling that there's extortion going on, reference, trying to get more than a private entity deserves than to be able to get you guys the access that you need. And I think Councilman Hertzek and I agree on, I don't necessarily agree that we're going to vacate every alley. Even if we frequently turn down alley vacations, depending on what the development plan is for these city blocks and what that long-term vision looks like for that property, whether we're going to vacate or not. I always felt like, we already did the FDOT stuff, so I think we've already given quite a bit on this movement, and I appreciate your position on that. And I think you keep your right set in your head about which way to go. Stay strong and keep pushing forward. Thank you.
Thank you very much, ma'am.
Thank you. And thank each and every one of you.
Yes, ma'am.
Have a happy, continuous Black History Month.
All right, now it's time for public comment. I have a few registered speakers, and then I'll go to the speakers in the room. The first speaker is Michael Randolph, followed by Larry Premack and Eileen Henderson. Is Michael Randolph on? Good morning, Mr. Randolph.
Yes, thank you very much. My name is Michael Randolph, and I'm with the West Tampa CDC. An engaged community is an empowered community. On February 24th, during a Zoom meeting, we will have our next engagement for empowerment meeting. To date, we've had over 60 residents to sign up for this meeting, in addition to neighborhood groups and people from around the country. I want to extend an open invitation to the City Council, as well as particular, and again, to the CAC, both the manager for West Tampa as well as the manager for the whole CAC. This is an opportunity to meet the silent majority of residents that do not attend meetings. I do want to also thank Joe Robinson, who will be attending, as well as the other CAC members to talk to the community and the neighborhood groups. Last week, we gave an overview of our economic initiative that focus on AI. This week, we want to talk about our community health initiative. The area that we cover, which is heavily Black and heavily unhealthy when it comes to diabetes, high blood pressure, and other, is a very unhealthy community. Most of these ailments can be controllable or prevented based on a video that was recently done called But for the Health. I'm going to share that with you at the meeting in terms of dealing with mental health. Just as important is public health. Our strategy focuses on data-driven and evidence-based approach to reducing violence based on lessons learned from around the country. We use an inclusive economic approach to reducing crime. Finally, the West Tampa Virtual Community Hub that will connect businesses and local residents to do business. That will be a national discussion that will bring West Tampa front and center. It is not too late. Please connect with us at the West Tampa CDC at gmail.com. Two other important discussions will be the West Tampa Cultural Center and the return of the Yellow Jack. I do want to give a shout out to Robin Locker, who has really brought this issue to the country. An engaged community is an empowered community. Also want to give a shout out to the CDC of Tampa, which is a best practice, and I talk about them throughout the nation when I talk about community development. Thank you very much and have a great day.
Thank you very much, Mr. Randolph. Larry Premack and Eileen Henderson. Eileen is not on, so Mr. Premack, are you on, sir?
Yes, I am.
Good morning. Please state your name.
Yes, my name is Larry Premack. I'm the president of the South Neighborhood Association on Harbor Island. I would first like to congratulate Mr. Shelby on his birthday. The man never ages. He must be drinking the same fountain that Councilman Miranda drinks out of. I don't know how he doesn't age given his job. But in any event, I'm here today to talk about the two proposed traffic lights in front of the convention center. We understand that the city council may not have line item veto over the lights. However, you can ask the mobility department to conduct a more comprehensive traffic study than the one during COVID 5 years ago. Our traffic engineer, Bill Oliver, will present later on during public comment alternatives which should be studied. In fact, the mayor has admitted in writing to our residents the lights may not work. As a rule, isn't it better to measure twice and cut once? In this case, the study done by Stantec is incomplete and does not take into account all options. In fact, if these lights are installed as presented, it may cause injuries or even worse. We don't want anybody to be held accountable for that. However, if we present competent, substantial evidence in front of you and the mayor, I think it deserves a second look. And I'd remind the council that Harbor Island wants what's best for the city and Harbor Island, and we have had public and private partnerships in the past. The biggest example of this is the Force Main project. The city initially proposed a replacement which would have cut our community in half. We argued through a 3-person task force with an engineer that perhaps a better route might be available for all parties. I was part of that task force. We worked with Brad Baird and Eric Weiss for an underwater solution, which the city now brags about in Trade Magazine, the second largest in the nation. We have the utmost respect for the rank and file in the city, but sometimes we have to pry open some politicians' eyes open to make our point. And I'd also point out that the medians on Knights Run and also Beneficial, as well as the bridge, we've financed all that. We pay for the irrigation. We're not here with our, hat in hand looking for handouts. We just want the proper thing to be done and studied for our island. So that's what we would propose. We'd ask the city council to approve a motion to ask the mobility department to conduct another study. If they refuse, you certainly can't be sued individually because they ignore you. Thank you for your consideration. The only other thing I would add is at the base of Knights Run and Harbor Island Boulevard, the city lights have been out since September 26th, and nobody seems to know why.
Thank you very much, sir. Okay. All right, our in-house speakers are going to be Bill Oliver, John Solar, and Stephen Michelini. Good morning, sir. Please state your name.
Good morning. My name's Bill Oliver. I'm a registered professional engineer and former City of Tampa Traffic Division employee. And I should say ditto to what Larry Premack just said. So the city's study does not clearly state the problem that's in need of a cure, other than to say there's high pedestrian activity. The crash review in that report identifies one crash involving a pedestrian up at the north end of the study segment and 3 crashes involving bicycles down at the south end at Knights Run. The solutions proposed, though, are mostly in the midsection of the segment. So in my mind, the lack of a clear statement or evidence of any pedestrian vehicular conflict issues at the solution locations detracts from any urgency to implement a cure. As I mentioned in my comments to you a couple of weeks ago, the Florida DOT policy is to consider roundabouts and other potential solutions before installing traffic signals. Also, the federal manual on uniform traffic control devices clearly indicates once warrants are met, an engineering study should be undertaken to identify alternatives and consider alternative solutions before signals are installed. The city would be acting in accordance with the federal and state guidance to invest some time into and request a more comprehensive, longer-term solution approach. Harbor Island is seeking a more thorough consideration of how to best separate vehicle and pedestrian movements. The city should maybe look to hiring Disney-style Imagineers who are masters at managing pedestrian flows to look to more creative and comprehensive long-term solutions, including developing a second-level concept to pedestrian circulation. Such systems do work well when well-designed. The pedestrian bridge connecting the Bill Poe parking garage to the Performing Arts Center was a very effective solution and a good example. There's an existing bridge connecting the Convention Center across Franklin Street to the Embassy Suites Hotel, and a stairwell that allows access down to Franklin Street. But that connection's not visible, and nor is it publicized at all. It does not effectively serve the pedestrian movements that are there. So Harbor Island has a property tax basis upwards of $1.3 billion. The Convention Center and Amelie Arena bring in substantial tourism taxes. It makes sense to think in terms of continuing to invest in the pedestrian experience around these world-class facilities.
Thank you very much.
Concludes.
Our next speaker is John Solar, Stephen Michelini, Mentesnot.
Hello, everybody.
Please state your name.
John Soler, and I'm with Instruments for Life. It's a local nonprofit that serves the deserving youth of Tampa Bay. And I just wanted to say a few words about the Jackson House.
Wait, no, please,
Oh.
yeah, because of the microphone.
I can't. You couldn't hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Cool. So last year, we started a new initiative called Central Ave Live. And actually, at Black English, Councilwoman Henderson allowed us to promote there and had our flyers there. This event invited Commissioner Myers, Mayor Castor, and others, Mr. Fred Hearns, and we were teaching all of our history about Central Ave Live. Now, during those community engagements, we helped spread the word. We had local musicians and some of our students come perform because they learned about the history, and preserving the history is what we're trying to do, right? Well, when we get to this curriculum and we have to talk about the Jackson House, because we have to talk about the Jackson House for that history, well, how do we tell the kids that? That's my tough job, right? But earlier I heard a quote, when we all do better, right? And that just feels like the mission right here, because we're all trying to come together. Anything I can do to help manifest it, I'm about. And I will keep trying to give our youth this knowledge because they're the ones changing it, right? But that difficult conversation for them, especially our black youth, right? They want to know about that. And these questions that they ask about, it's incredible. I would invite any one of y'all to any of their showcases or anything that we can do. I wish they were here today or allowed to be, because us trying to describe why we're not saving that history, that's a very difficult thing for an 8-year-old or an 18-year-old or a 98-year-old. We don't understand why we're not doing better, but if we could all just do better, I promise you, our kids are trying to make life musical. They're going to spread the word. There's so many adults around us that don't know this history, but these kids, they are going to do it. And I bring them there, and we walk there, and our next initiative will be at Kid Mason, which finally got renovated, and we're never going to leave there. We're going to be there, and we're always going to have to walk by that Jackson House. And so when we bring it back, right, I would love to have open jams with those kids playing in there. And they're going to be able to tell those stories, right? Like that's what Tampa deserves, right? Our music history to survive, our black history, all of our history. It's Tampa history. Anyways, that's all I've got.
Thank you,
I just
sir.
wanted to meet you so much.
Stephen Michelini, Mentesnot, Mrs. Stephanie Point.
Steve Michelini, let me explain something about why that easement release of the alley is important. It goes through 3 city blocks, and it separates Accardi's property on both sides. That's why it's important. The Jackson House doesn't have access in the back. They just don't. I mean, that's an exaggeration at best. What the agreement talks about is not extraction. It's not strong arming. It says simply, don't object to the request for vacating. Obviously, that's up to City Council to grant that or not. Previously, we filed for vacating for that alley,
and the Jackson House and Dr. Collins were all supportive. I met with them. I met with Gilmore Rodriguez, Ricardo Rodriguez Gilmore. He was their attorney. We had an agreement until the morning of the hearing, and they filed a letter of objection, so we withdrew that petition. They met, Dr. Collins and the attorneys all met in December and agreed on the contents of what was to be done, including land transfers adjacent to the side of their building to give them access and parking. This, if you look at this again, this parking lot, which is adjacent to the Jackson House, serves that building, which is leased. This is the parking lot for them. They're willing to give up spaces along this side and the other side so that they do have access and parking. I'm not going to go into the details of all of the provisions of the agreement, but Dr. Collins and the Jackson Foundation have had the agreement since December, and it was redrafted according to their wishes. And we have heard nothing from them. Jason Accardi and the attorneys have been calling them, and as they told me, weekly with no reply. So the Accardis are committed to making this happen and preserving and doing whatever they can to assist in preserving the Jackson House. The requests, that have gone out to the Jackson Foundation have not been answered at all. So, putting this on the Accardis, somehow they're strong-arming or something like that, simply completely inaccurate. One of the things that I would request is that perhaps one of the council members would act to help facilitate the conclusion of this matter. Not in a capacity of a commitment, but in the capacity of helping to facilitate so that we stop this going crossways on the discussions and we get the agreement done and get the Jackson House saved. So I would hope that one of you council members would volunteer to do that and interface so that we have the open line of communication instead of silence.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Montesna, Mrs. Stephanie Pointer, Ms. Connie Burton. Good morning, sir. Please state your name.
Huru. Y'all got to learn the word of huru. That means freedom in Swahili. The name is Montesna. It means anything's possible. I want to say, like, some people are so disingenuous, they don't know when to stop. The fact of the matter is, I'm not here to talk about the Jackson House. I'm here to talk about child support. But one of the things that you have to understand that's not said is the new lounge. Millions and millions and millions, nothing said about Central Park. Millions and millions and millions of African people have investment right there, right at that spot. Right at that spot, right at that exact spot. Whosoever the Bacardis, whosoever they are, they need to give that land up. They need to give it away. Sometimes you just have to do the right thing, morally, socially, politically, economically. For what that means to African people, they just need to give the land away and let the people at the Jackson House make the decision over it. Nothing more, nothing less. But I'm not here to talk about the Jackson House. What I'm here to talk about is, first and foremost, I'd like to apologize for any name calling anybody out of their name. I'd like to apologize for that. I'd like to apologize for my stance last week in calling people garbage. Because one of the first things I do in teaching my kids is tell them, don't allow anyone to bully you and don't allow anyone to call you out of your name. And I have to live by example. Don't let anyone call you the N-word. Don't let them, try to educate them. Don't let them use it around you too much. Try to educate them. And if not, remove yourself away from them. Don't let anyone physically abuse you, sexually abuse you, harass you, none of those things. So that's not my intention to call anyone out of their name, talk about their religion, talk about anything of that nature. That's not me by nature. Wasn't raised that way, and I'm not that person. I'm the kind of person that help people in any way I possibly can. But I also live by the example of won't be bullied, won't be pushed around. So I honestly and truly and sincerely like to apologize. That's not me, and it's not in the spirit of my existence. But what I'm here to talk about is child support. And I also like to talk about Miss Scott over at Meacham Learning Center. A lot of people don't even, they mention Esme Reeves and people like that in Central Park, but the lady Ms. Scott, she's done so much for the African community, and nobody ever say anything about her, but that's very important. But the fact of the matter is, the names Charles Denton, Arabella Campbell, Sabrina Fry, in the child support area, they're the Ku Klux Klan operating right over there in the Hillsborough County Courthouse. And this city council need to take a look into what they're doing. They're crooked as ever, and they putting that pressure on black men. That's the biggest problem black men have in the United States of America, child support.
Thank you very much, sir. Mrs. Stephanie Pointer, Ms. Connie Burton, and I see, is it Nick Ewing? Yes, sir. Okay. Good morning, ma'am. Please say your name.
Good morning. Stephanie Pointer. Number 18 is that there's a grant for nature-based solutions for Picnic Island. When are they going to discuss this with the community? When are they going to talk about it? I think I might know what it is because somebody mentioned it to me a year or so ago. But it's a huge grant for like $2 million to do some work off of Picnic Island, but I would think that the neighborhood should know about it. And I had to go to page 27 of the 65-page document in order to figure out what the hell it was for. Number 30, that mobility study has been in my hands since September of 2023. We're paying for it now. I'm kind of confused. I want to know when it's going to be presented and when we're going to put it in place, because we are currently charging like $1,300 or $1,400. I didn't bring the documents with me today. And we should be charging about $9,000 for each single-family home. So we are losing $800 every time somebody builds a single-family home in this city. Number 61, are those credit card users paying for those fees, or are we paying for them out of pocket? Okay, good. Thank you for asking. And number 74, why was this removed? I really would like to see that breakdown of the spending in this city by the districts. And here's why. Because in south of Gandy, not South Tampa, south of Gandy alone, these new apartment complexes that have been built since the last comprehensive plan, we have seen a $9.3 million jump in tax dollars. $9.3 million jump, okay? That would be the one-year jump. Now, over time, it's gotten to be, I think it was $14 million this year for those 10,000 plus apartments and multifamily units. I want to see where the money's being spent. All I can see is that Harbor Island's getting a light shoved down their throat, but nobody has done anything in my community from the city of Tampa to help us with the paving, with the traffic, with all of the additional stuff that's going on down there. So, I want to see the spending per district, even if Councilman Miranda decided that he doesn't want to. I think you need to ask for it because I want to see where the money's being spent, because it sure as heck isn't being spent where the tax dollars are coming from. Now, let's talk about Rome Yard, because this is my new favorite thing. Okay, so it was approved. The RFP was awarded in 2021. Okay, here we are. Hannah Street was awarded 6 months after that one. 6 months after. And it's been open for 2 years. And Rome Yard still looks like this. And supposedly the groundbreaking was in May of last year. Why does it still look like this? Now, I haven't been back over there. And I'd like to point out that the last time I brought this up at City Council, the Rome Yard website was down, but it's back up now. They fixed the website, so now you can actually learn about it. So please ask why we don't have these apartments being built.
Thank you very much, ma'am.
Thank you.
My name was mentioned, and let me say, it's not that I don't want to. It's better to have it all comprehensive at one when the budget presented all over. So I never said I didn't want to. Let me clear that.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
I'd like to see it.
Ms. Connie Burton, Mr. Nick Ewing, and Ms. Valerie Bullock. Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning, Connie Burton. In the spirit of Black history, if our revolution political activist was still around by the name of Huey P. Newton, we wouldn't be asking why the Jackson House is not built. It would have been built. Because what we see constantly is this forced removal through policy of eliminating Black faces and well-known faces. And it is very disgusting to know how the powers be put the plans together that somebody as disgusting as Bob Buckhorn would say it's going to be torn down. Then you see these developers buying up everything that they never wanted to have their hands on Black life. To even think that this Black community would support him in his re-election bid would be sinful to us. Moving right along. Huey P. Newton, what did he do for us? He was able to put forth 60 good community programs that still is lasting today. The government hijacked the free breakfast program, the sickle cell anemia program, the housing cooperative. When we have and we support our true Black leadership, we get things done. Secondly, what I came here for today is to say in the reconciliation committee, we're running into some brick walls that most of us ain't gonna sit around and just go along quietly with. We recognize that we are not subject matter experts. I want to read to you what we have asked the city for. It says, for the city of Tampa, a request is made that a subject matter expert in each of the policy areas completed. The policy area completes the situation analysis workshop that corresponds to that policy area, provides it to the committee chair and Angela Chris 14 days prior to the meeting that addressed the policy area and attends the corresponding meeting. The agenda and workshop are attached in reference. And I'm quite sure that Louis Vieira and the attorney would be able to elaborate on that more. I'm just so upset sitting here today. I'm upset looking at this agenda and seeing the millions of dollars that is going out in infrastructure, that somebody should be able to tell us how do Black life is improved and the quality of our economic condition. It's not good enough for you all to pass these little bills when y'all come along and say, you know, Tampa is a better place. God damn, how will Black people prosper in this city? It's on all of you all. It's on to everybody that was once the mayor here as well.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Nick Ewing, Miss Valerie Bullock, and Mrs. Chloe Coney.
Good morning, Council. My name is Nick Ewing. I am a producer of arts and organics through sustainability through a company that I have called Artistry Gardens. It is a pleasure to see the Council do what it takes to make things happen in our community. I'm impressed by the community behind me, representing themselves and the history and the future of this incredible city that I've lived in for almost 25 years now, coming from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I've been performing music for almost 2 decades. Many of you have actually seen the music. I've been participating with Instruments for Life for their Make Life musical series that's happening over in Central Live, and it has been a pleasure to learn about the history of what we have had in this city. But I think the most important thing that I haven't heard in this particular meeting is the future of what City of Tampa will showcase as how they care about music and arts and community development here in this area. I realize the economic impact, the social health, and a myriad of other educational benefits that come from being able to showcase what art and organics can do for a community. And I really believe that without looking at the pure value that comes from initiating new policy and creating a way for the community to be represented wholly and visibly through sound and all of what it takes to make a better world, I feel that we are at a crux, we are at a tipping point where we can really see a future that we all want to see in our lives. And I believe that through clever negotiation, communication above all, we were going to be able to find that solution. And I find it very possible amongst all of your hearts and the hearts behind me that we can see these things come into fruition. And I want to pledge my support to the council, pledge my support to the community at large behind me, people who are not here, people who are listening, and for the people who are to come. The future holds more than what the past has had before us. And I think that it is upon us to be able to make something that can really stand the test of time. Sadly, the way that the Jackson House has not been able to. It is quite literally, as Councilman Carlson said, one storm away from blowing over. And I think every single person in this room has heard the music that comes out of those halls, of those rooms, that has affected generations before and generations to come. And all I ask, and all I want to come and say on my last point, we can make a life that is better for all, and I believe that we can do that through arts. And I think that without that future, in my last 30 seconds, I want you to know that without that, people like myself who have been performing and creating economic and social benefit for this community for the last 2 decades, I don't see a future here for myself if I cannot see the history of what the world of this Tampa community is treating the halls and the museums and the pillars of our community that have established arts as a stronghold. So with that being said, I want to say thank you, and I'm proud of what the community is doing. Thank you all so much.
Thank you very much, sir. Ms. Valerie Bullock, Mrs. Chloe Coney, Ms. Diane Ziegler.
Good morning, Valerie Bullock from College Hill in Ponce de Leon, and it's the reason why I say that. It's historical. I'm not from East Tampa. I'm from 3514 20th Street Apartment 115, College Hill. That's the area that's raised me, that reared me, that gave me the fight that I got in me. When I get knocked down, I get back up. Those are the people who I leaned on to become the person that I am, and I'm real, whether you like it or not. This Valerie, unapologetically. Back to the Jackson house. It's a darn shame we right here again. Let's play ball. Let's do this. Oh, when are we gonna move forward? You know, it's real heartbreaking. It really is. And it shouldn't be like that. We should be able to have an honest conversation, admit some wrongs that we did, come together and make it right. Because just like the musician said, music is a language that we all understand. And I got one thing to say about the people in power. I don't know what word in the English language, I can't find one, applies to people who are willing to sacrifice the literal existence of organized human life so they can put a few more dollars into highly stuffed pockets. The word evil don't even begin to apply. When people in political power make it their agenda to create generational wealth for their family members, they need to be kicked out. If I'm a political person and a person in power, it never should be about me. It should be about the people. And we all should walk in integrity, because elected officials are they are held at a higher level than somebody like me. They might say, you seen what Valerie Bullock did? Oh yeah, she was having a bad day. But when elected officials go out of their way to sabotage something and they present themselves as a sheep, but really they are a wolf, we need to look at them people, because we got too many dinos running around, Democrat in name only, because they're here for personal gain. How can somebody go against the Jackson house? I don't understand it. And the people who bought all the land around it, it's a rat somewhere. Somebody told them about the Jackson house. They bought all the land because they had an agenda. And we need to go back and see what happened, especially to the easements. If we don't get nothing else, we want the easements back. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mrs. Chloe Coney, Diane Ziegler, Robin Lockett, Sandy Pardue. And that would conclude public comment. Yes, ma'am.
Good morning. I'm Chloe Coney, the woman that wears many hats. First, I want to thank you, City Council. I came last month and you approved the land for the East Tampa Innovation Center. I want to say thank you, because once that's built, we're going to be getting good jobs in manufacturing, construction, and hospitality. But I want to state this, that my mentor, Don Maxwell of Kansas City, 33 years ago when I started CDC of Tampa, told me, Chloe, if you're going to be a community development corporation, you're going to have to buy some land and own the dirt. He said, now it's a ghetto in East Tampa, it's going to be a gold mine. So I took that on, and now my son is taking that on, so that's the reason we own the East Tampa Business Center, the Audrey Spofford, the building on Hillsborough Apartments, and so on. But I come to say today, I want to remind some folks, because I've been here all my life. I remember years ago when we had the Hillsborough County Urban League that put their money and their time in building a white elephant on Howard Avenue. Unfortunately, we know we lost a historical black organization. Our Urban League was around 85 years. I want to make sure y'all know that, 85 years. And overnight, we lost it, they lost all their money, and they closed down. And then that building, that facility that should have been black-owned, was given to the Hillsborough Education Foundation that is there today. Now to the Jackson House, and Dr. Carolyn Collins was right. When I was working with Congresswoman Castor, and thank you, Bill Carson, you called me to get involved during that time. I asked her to take it on, and I thank God for this committee. And I want to say it's a shame if we sit here with the city of Tampa and allow the same thing that happened to the Urban League happen to this Jackson House. I've been knowing Willie Robinson all my life and his family. We need more black-run organizations. We need the history of the Jackson's house. Not only me, I want it for my children and my children's children to see that we can own some land and we can make an impact upon our city. So again, I want to say to you, City Council, thank y'all so much. I thank the county and everybody else, the Venix. But we can do this. We can do it if we all work together. But I'm going to stand tall. I'm going to keep coming down here too, because we refuse to give up. I know it can be done. So let's do it. God bless y'all. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Diane Ziegler, Ms. Robin Lockett, and Sandy Pardue. Good morning, ma'am. Please state your name.
Yes, good morning. I'm Diane Ziegler. I'm a resident and homeowner in East Tampa, and I'm here to express my support for the J.C. Newman project. This is an important piece of historic preservation in East Tampa. It'll also provide economic development, new jobs, reduce slum and blight. It's a terrible looking building. It looks as bad as the Jackson House, maybe worse. And I really support the family investing their time, their money, their work into East Tampa, and it's a good project. And they're bringing their own monies to the project, and they need some extra help. So I'm in support of it, and I hope you will too.
Thank you very much. Ms. Robin Lockett and Sandy Pardue is our final speaker. Good morning, ma'am. Please state your name.
So funny when you say that. Good morning, Council. Robin Lockett. I want to go over a few things this morning. This morning is busy. First of all, in regards to the Racial Reconciliation Committee, I want to publicly thank the conversation I had with Chief Bennett. Are you Chief? Chief, no, John Bennett, I call him John. But Chief Bennett, in regards to making sure that if we follow a procedure, that he will make sure we get the data that we need. I appreciate it. That's helpful and calms a lot of nerves. We plan on doing our part, and I appreciate you offering your assistance with the administration to do so. Second, Willie Robinson, NAACP, again, great man, and I'm so thankful, Dr. Collins, that in the foundation that you guys are continuing that effort with the rebuild, the restoration of the Jackson House. I asked a question early on in regards to, if it doesn't make sense, because when things don't make sense, my mind goes crazy. And I have a question also in regards to when the zoning changed, when it went to no lot size or lines, or dealing with the lines. Finding out all of that, because again, that house has always been there. It's the zoning that has changed before. It was a residential area beforehand. So when did it change, and why wasn't that and the property grandfathered in? Yellow Jackets, I'm going to keep coming up here about the Yellow Jackets. I know we are moving forward, but I want to just keep the Yellow Jackets in the forefront, because as it's been saying, this administration is going to be gone in a couple years, and something with the need of the Yellow Jackets, something should be put forth and started, and that should be resolved before this administration leaves. So I would love timelines and so forth, not for us to just linger on it, but just being very specific in regards to when things are coming back so we can see movement on it. Now, I want to talk about something that really, really upset me last week with Chief Tripp. You know, when City Council brings Chief Tripp up here, and you're asking her for, in her duty, what needs to be done, you guys bring the union up here. And the union contradicts, I love Nick, but they have issues. He does not have to solidify what she says. She's the employee. And she is the employee. So it's disrespectful for you guys to allow them to do that.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Our last speaker is Sandy Pardue.
Good morning, council members. I'm Sandy Pardue. I live in the River Arts neighborhood, fairly close to here. I don't have anything specific that I want to bring up concerning my point. It's a general point, and the general point is it's better to be proactive than to be reactive. And the reactive that we're seeing with the Jackson House is just the perfect proof of that. Now, my points do relate, though, to abandoned, disused, and terrible buildings in all of our neighborhoods in Tampa, not just my neighborhood. There are a few, but there are more in East, West Tampa, Ybor, maybe not too many in South Tampa, but I'm sure there are some down there too. So my questions and my comments relate to what's going on with our city codes. I don't have the expertise to get into any of that. I just know that you require, when somebody builds a building or when somebody does a new renovation, there's a certificate of occupancy that you have to have. Well, once a building has been abandoned and sits vacant for so long, what do the codes say is required of the owners of those buildings? I know there are nuances and lots of situations that go into why these things are created, but I'm just talking about the fact that the city ought to be able to have a way to be proactive in terms of preventing some of the situations that occur with these buildings. There ought to be a certificate of non-occupancy that those buildings have to pass. That's all I'm saying, and it seems like a silly thing maybe, but maybe some of the situations that we're seeing in our city wouldn't be so bad or as critical if we had some higher standards for the non-occupied buildings, the decrepit ones, the abandoned ones, the Cutro Music Store whose roof collapsed about 2 or 3 months ago, even before the hurricanes, buildings like that. So what do the codes say? Do we have examinations of our codes periodically? Are they updated, or are they just there and they sit there until a crisis happens? Those are my points. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you very much. All right, that concludes public comment. We go to item number 5 and 6, board and administration appointments. Mr. Shelby. Yes, sir.
Yes, these are the mayoral appointments, and if it were council's pleasure, unless there's any discussion, you could just move the resolutions.
So moved. We have a motion from Councilmember Clendenin, second from Councilmember Miranda. All in favor? Aye. Aye. All right. Any requests by the public for reconsideration of legislative matters? I see none. Okay? Yes, ma'am.
I just wanted to make a quick comment about number 6, whereas these are the appointments by the mayor, but from my understanding, we also have quite a few city council appointments to this, and I just wanted to make sure that the public knew that this isn't just, and I believe Mr. Selby's going to talk about that later.
He is, and that's,
Okay.
yeah, that's not the entire board. This is the mayoral part. There's a city council aspect of it, which we'll bring up.
But I just wanted to make sure the public knew that, so.
Yeah,
thank you.
under new business, we're going to bring it. We've been discussing it for the last couple of days, so. All right, we're going to go to committee. Yeah.
Just briefly.
That I was at the racial reconciliation meeting on, was it Monday or Tuesday evening?
Tuesday.
Tuesday, thank you. And I will be bringing up their motion so that we can forward that to the administration just because the folks are here. But obviously during new business, just for the public's info. Thank you.
Okay, very good. All right, so Councilmember Vieira, you are the Public Safety Committee Chair. If you want to move items 7 through 14.
I will do so. I hereby move items 7 through 14, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
We have a motion from Councilman Vieira, second from Councilmember Miranda. All in favor? Aye. For the next committee, Councilmember Henderson. Councilmember.
We're going to pull 18 and 19.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm aware.
You got it.
Thank you, Chair. For the Neighborhood and Community Affairs Committee, I move items 15 through 17, as well as items 20 through 27.
No, 15 was.
15 was removed as well?
Yeah, so 16,
15, 18, 19? Is that the ones that's been pulled?
No.
15 was removed. We already took it off.
Okay, thank you. 16, 17, 20 through 27.
Perfect. Do we have a second? Second from Councilmember Clendenin, motion by Councilmember Henderson, all in favor? Aye. So Councilmember Hurtak, you had pulled 18 and 19 for a separate vote and a discussion.
Yes, and the reason I wanted to have this discussion is this is a federal appropriation of $2 million, but when I asked Mr. O'Hara about it, it is a reimbursable grant. That means we do not have $2 million sitting in a bank right now to spend on this project. I have asked what would happen if we don't get reimbursement, and basically we would have to stop the project, and we would have to discuss it among ourselves if this is something we want to continue. Unfortunately, there's quite a few of these projects that we have in the city right now, and it's something that we all need to start talking about, and that's the reason I pulled this. Next week, during the workshop session, we are having a conversation about bonding, and we're having a conversation about the money that we had left over from FY 2024. I want to highly, highly recommend that you go through the monthly report we just got, which is actually a quarterly report. It's kind of thick, but it has some really good information about possible property tax decreases, capital improvement projects that are doubling, and it's something that we're all going to have to talk about next week. But I'm particularly concerned because I think this is an important project, but what happens if we don't have the money? Where are we going to find $2 million? And I just wanted to put that on folks' radar because if we sign a contract with a company to do this work, will we still have to pay them? And Mr. O'Hara said he's going to have to ask legal about that. But that concerns me, and that should concern all of us.
So what do you want to do with 18 and 19?
I don't know. I just wanted to tell you about it. I think it's an important project because it works toward the stormwater, but I just want us to be aware that we may end up bearing the burden, and this is just a study. This is not the actual whatever comes out of it. So the study would be even more, or the actual what comes out of this. So I just wanted to bring it to our attention now because of what's been happening in DC.
Speak of the devil, he shall appear.
Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Shelby, Councilmember Henderson.
My
Councilmember
suggestion then is to all these items that you're holding for discussion, could you take them up after you finish the consent docket?
Okay.
So finish the consent, because if you pull them for a separate vote, that's one thing. But if you're going to have a policy discussion, please do not do it while you're handling the consent
Okay,
docket.
then fine. That's fine.
I'm going to hold 18 and 19.
Thank you.
All right.
Okay.
Next up, we have Councilmember Hurtak
Yeah.
with items 28 through 36, but 36 was pulled.
Yeah, and that's the same thing. It's apologize. It's the same thing. It's a policy discussion. So I'll move items 28 through 35.
We have a motion and a second from Councilmember Clendenin. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, Councilmember Miranda, you have 37 and 38. We have a motion. Do we have a second? Second from Councilmember Clendenin. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Councilmember Carlson, 39 through 47.
I move 39 through 47.
We have a motion from Councilmember Carlson, second from Councilmember Clendenin. All in favor? Aye. And then 48 has been moved by Councilmember Clendenin. Do we have a second? Second from Councilmember Vieira. All in favor? Aye. And item 49 has been pulled. So now that we've done the consent agenda, can we discuss?
Yeah, I'm fine with talking about these after lunch because but I really believe this is something that we need to start talking about now.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, after lunch now. Yeah. But, yes, sir.
You may be able to get to them before lunch. Mr. O'Hara's here, I don't know, but the point is, Mr. Chairman, I'm sorry to interrupt, but
You
what
want
I'm
me to go
saying
through
is,
the second reading?
now that you know that after you've done the consent docket, to go back and do those
Yeah, the big
high-ticket
ticket
budget
items.
items
Yeah, yeah.
on,
All right.
that you've pulled from the staff reports for
All right.
a vote.
So item 61, it was no request for somebody here. Can I get a motion to move 61? Motion.
I move 61, 62, the substitute for 63, 64.
All right, we have a motion and we have a second from Councilmember Clendenin. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, Mr. Shelby, do we continue on with 65? This is requesting staff to be here.
You have the second reads.
Second readings, yeah.
Jumping around. All right, can I get a motion to open all the public hearings? We have a motion from Councilmember Clendenin, second from Councilmember Miranda. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Let me just check here. Okay. All right, items.
58?
Wait, no, I'm gonna see. Might as well swear everybody in. If you're going to speak on any of the public hearings, please stand, raise your right hand, and we'll swear you in. That's anything 50 through 54 and beyond.
Please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony that you are about to provide is the truth and nothing but the truth?
All right. These are non-quasi judicial, so we'll start with item 51. Wait, is there staff here for 51? Oh, he's online, okay. Mr. Sammons, go ahead, sir.
Ross Sammons, Development Coordination, presenting file number VAC 24-16. This is ordinance being presented for second reading and adoption. It's an ordinance to vacate a portion of Mulberry Drive right-of-way located north of Hillsborough River, south of Bird Street, east of 19th Street, and west of Roller Park Drive within the plats of Catherine Park and Ferncliff subdivisions, City of Tampa. I'm available if you have any questions.
Any questions for Mr. Sammons? Nope, all right. Do we have an applicant for 51? Yes, sir, come on up.
Good morning, council members. My name is Harvey Halpern for the applicant. I don't have anything to add. I think everyone's apprised of the situation, but if there are any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Any questions? Is there anybody in the public that wishes to speak on 51?
Motion closed.
I see no one. So we have motion closed from Councilmember Clendenin, second Councilmember Miranda. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Councilmember Miranda, would you mind reading 51?
Thank you, Chairman. Item 51, file number VAC 2416. Ordinance being presented for second reading and adoption. Ordinance in the City of Tampa, Florida, vacating, closing, discontinuing, abandoning that portion of Mulberry Drive right-of-way located north of Hillsborough River, south of Bird Street, east of 19th Street, west of Roulette Park Drive, within the plat of Karen Park and Ferncliff subdivision in the City of Tampa, Florida, Hillsborough County, Florida, as more descriptively described in Section 2 thereof, subject to certain covenants, conditions, and restrictions, as more particularly described, set forth in, providing for enforcement and penalties for violation, providing for definitions, interpretation, and repealing conflicts, providing for severability, providing an effective date.
We have a motion from Councilman Miranda, second from Councilman Clendenin. Please record your vote.
Motion carried with Hurtak voting no.
Thank you very much. All right. Item 52, Councilmember Vieira, you were absent at vote. Were you able to review the record?
Yes, sir, as part of the agenda review, yes, sir.
All righty. Item number 52, do we have anybody from staff?
Hello, Elaine Lund, Historic Preservation staff, is here virtually this morning. This item is a ordinance to designate the Dobie House at 1405 West Azeele Street as a local historic landmark. Staff was pleased to provide you with a complete presentation on this at the first reading, and I'm available if you have any questions. Thank you.
Any questions? All right, applicant for 52. Oh, it was you and Mr. Fernandez, correct? So there is no applicant. All right, any public comment for 52?
Motion closed.
We have a motion closed from Councilmember Clendenin, second Councilmember Miranda. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Councilman Vieira, would you mind reading 52?
Sure. I move an ordinance being presented for second reading and adoption ordinance of the City of Tampa, Florida, designated Adobe House located at 1405 West Azeele Street, Tampa, Florida, more particularly described in Section 3 hereof as a local historic landmark, providing for repeal of all ordinances in conflict, providing for severability, providing an effective date.
All right, we have a motion from Councilmember Vieira. We have a second from Councilmember Clendenin. Please record your vote.
Motion carried unanimously.
Okay. Thank you very much. Item number 53, Councilmembers Clendenin and Carlson were absent at vote. Were you able to review the record?
I reviewed the record, yes.
Yes.
All righty, go ahead. Item 53.
Jennifer Malone with your Planning Commission staff. Item 53 is a map amendment from residential 20 to community mixed use 35 at 801 East 26th Avenue. We provided a complete presentation on January 30th. I'm available for any questions.
Any questions for Ms. Malone? I see no one. Yes, sir. Please state your name.
Good morning, Council. Ryan Manassi with Johnson Pope, Director of Development and Planning. I'm happy to answer any questions should you have any, but if not, just request your approval.
Thank you very much. Is there anybody in the public that wishes to speak on 53?
Motion closed.
We have a motion closed from Councilmember Clendenin, second from?
Second.
Second from Councilman Miranda. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Councilmember Henderson.
Yes, Chair. File number TACPA 2412, an ordinance being presented for second reading and adoption, an ordinance amending the Tampa Comprehensive Plan, future land use element, future land use map for the property located at 801 East 26th Avenue from residential 20R20 to community mixed use 35, CMU 35, providing for repeal of all ordinances in conflict, providing for severability, providing an effective date.
Second.
We have a motion from Councilmember Henderson, second from Councilmember Miranda. Please record your vote.
Motion carried unanimously.
Okay. Our votes are not appearing on the chart, so, but she did say it vocally, so, verbally. All right, item 54, we already swore everybody that is going to be speaking. Go ahead, sir, 54.
Good morning, St. Thomas Development Coordination. Item number 54 is RAZ 2512. This item is a request to rezone the property located at 702 West Columbus Drive, 2502, 2504 North Boulevard, and folio number 183355.0005. The request is to rezone from residential single-family 60, commercial general, plan development to plan development for storefront residential all commercial neighborhood uses. Just as a quick refresher, this case was before you on January 23rd. However, it became a first reading instead of a second reading because the applicant needed to make some additional revisions to the site plan after working with the neighborhood to address some concerns. A label and a gate was added along the alley, and notes were added regarding exterior lighting, construction vehicle use of the alley, pavement within the alley, preserving the roots of the neighborhood's grand tree adjacent to the alley, and installation, maintenance, and operation of the gate that is along the alley. And I've highlighted those changes for you here on the site plan. All revisions have been completed and certified plans have been sent to the clerk's office, and I'm available if there's any questions.
Any questions for the gentleman? I see none. All right, applicant for item 54, Mr. Malloy, come on up, please say your name, even though I just said it.
Council members, good morning. William Malloy, 325 South Boulevard, back here again for this lovely case. Nothing to add to what Sam presented. I believe we're at complete peace with the neighborhood right now, which we're happy to be. And I do want to thank this council because about a month ago, we were on life support here, and it was your direction and probably scolding that got us to where we needed to be. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Any questions for the gentleman? Is there anybody in the public that wishes to speak on 54? We have a motion from Councilmember Clendenin, second from Councilmember Miranda. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Councilmember Clendenin, 54.
I move file number RAZ 2512, an ordinance being presented for second reading and adoption, an ordinance rezoning property in the general vicinity of 702 West Columbus Drive, 2502 and 2504 North Boulevard in folio 183355-0005 in the city of Tampa, Florida, and more particularly described in section 1 from zoning districts classifications, RS60, residential single-family, CG, commercial general, and PD plan development, to PD plan development, storefront residential, all commercial neighborhood uses, providing an effective date.
We have a motion from Councilmember Clendenin with the second from Councilmember Vieira. Please record your vote.
Congratulations on a good
Motion
project.
carried unanimously.
Thank you very much. Item number 55, and then there is a resolution following that. Yes, sir, go ahead.
All right, Sam Thomas Development Coordination. Item number 55 is RAZ 2452. This item is a request to rezone the property located at 205, 207, and 209 East Columbus Drive, 2301, 2303, 2307, and 2315 North Florida Avenue, and 204 and 206 East Amelia Avenue. The request is to rezone from residential multifamily 24 and commercial intensive to planned development for storefront residential, all commercial general uses, and commercial parking. Just as the case before, this was before you on January 23rd for second reading. That became a first reading again in order for the applicant to make some revisions to the site plan to address some concerns. The site plan shows the additional retail added and then the updates associated with that. Additionally, a note was added to the site plan regarding the retail square footage and the building height could not be changed through the substantial subchange process. So all those revisions have been completed, and the submitted certified plans have been submitted to the clerk's office, and I'm available if you have any questions.
Any questions? Yes, ma'am.
Just a quick question. I remember the change was really they just took a little bit of the lobby and made more retail space. That was the actual change. Can you clarify that
Yes,
for
ma'am.
me?
So they increased the retail square footage from 4,500 to about 5,500 square feet. So they made that change on the site plan to increase the retail square footage.
By 500 square feet?
1,000 square feet.
1,000, okay, thank
So
you.
they updated that there, and then the additional change was adding that sub-change note to say that the square footage of the retail could never be converted to residential uses.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you very much. Mr. Hudson, come on up. Please state your name.
Good morning, Council. Tyler Hudson, 400 North Ashley Drive. Have nothing to add to Sam's thorough overview. Appreciate your patience with this and would ask again for your approval this morning. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Is there, yes, sir.
I guess we should, motion to close, but I do have a statement before we vote.
That's for public comment.
Yeah.
You have after we close?
Yeah, motion to close after
Wait,
public
okay.
comment, yeah.
Is there anybody here in the public that wishes to speak on 55?
Motion closed.
We have a motion closed from Councilmember Clendenin. Would you have a second? Second, Councilmember Miranda. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Before we read it, Councilmember Clendenin, go ahead.
Yeah, this was a difficult one for me, as I said in the first reading when I voted against and then changed on the second one after the applicant came back with really a very small concession, which I think is part of the reason why you see some of the no votes on this. But I did want to, again, I kind of just tilted a little bit in the favor of this because it's such a consequential project and the amount of housing that's being provided and the quality of the project was good. So I would have rather seen a more traditional looking mixed use development, but that, I really think that in this element, and I think why I want to say something is because for folks that are listening, when you're coming to us on these key transit corridors and these key intersections, these commercial corridors, of how we envision what the city of Tampa is going to look like, it is going to be much more mixed development, and it's going to have that retail component, it's going to have the service component as well as the residential. And so if we move forward and you all come with projects, we're going to expect more. And again, I'm saying I'm okay with this one, but just barely. I mean, when I say barely, I mean by a hair. I'm barely okay with this. I would have rather seen more, but I'm going to say yes to this one because of it. Again, it's a lot of residents. It's quality construction, and would I've liked it to be? If it was my project, would I've liked to see it a little bit better? Yes, but I'm going to go yes.
Councilmember Hurtak Henderson.
Well, I mean, that's exactly why I'm voting no. It's such an important corner, and every single time you're going to pass that building, it's going to be a regret, and that is why I have to be so vocal about this, because the project that we just approved for second reading went back and worked and got it right, and that, even though it's a shorter and a smaller development, will be remembered as a much better development. It will. It's not even remotely close. Because that building fits in with the neighborhood. The other one is fitting a suburban type development into an urban core. So I mean, I don't even think there's remotely a hair. It's a huge leap, and it's vastly different, and I couldn't disagree with you more.
Councilmember Henderson.
Thank you. I'm not going to repeat what Councilwoman Hurtak said because I greatly appreciate that. I think for me, this truly a missed opportunity because this property literally does sit in the community of Tampa Heights. And when it initially was presented about storefront, I was disappointed when only less than the 5,000 square feet came back, and that's what we verbalized, because it is sitting in the residential, area on a transportation corridor that makes it walkable for the community, but there's not going to be much there in this 5,000 square feet. And we clearly indicated that. And so to come back and just take a little bit of the lobby, to try to satisfy us, I was really, for me, disingenuous. And I, cannot support it for that reason. It just is not enough there for the community because you're asking for so much. Yes, there was a step down, because of the back neighbors, property, but that wasn't enough. The missed opportunity was the storefront, making it accessible to the community, and I'm just disappointed, and that's why I can't support it. So I agree with Councilwoman Hurtak as well. It's just when you look at the other project, which I actually flip-flopped on, if you all remember, and it was very specific that I did that because it forced them to go back and have that conversation with the community and clean up that one piece that was very important. And this is no different from that. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Carlson, would you like to read 55? I gotta skip.
Number 55, file number REZ 24-52, ordinance being presented for second reading and adoption, ordinance rezoning property in the general vicinity of 205, 207, and 209 East Columbus Drive, 2301, 2303, 2307, and 2315 North Florida Avenue, 204 and 206 East Amelia Avenue, and folio number 191372-0000 in the city of Tampa, Florida, and more particularly described in section 1 from zoning district classification RM24 residential multifamily and CI commercial intensive to PD plan development storefront residential commercial, all commercial general uses, commercial parking, providing effective date.
All right, we have a motion from Councilmember Carlson, second from Councilmember Vieira. Please record your vote.
Motion carried with Miranda, Henderson, and Hurtak voting no.
All right, who wishes to move the resolution? Motion from Councilmember Vieira. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second from Councilmember Carlson. Do we record the resolution vote, or do you do a roll call? Voice, okay. Go ahead.
Hurtak?
No.
Clendenin?
Yes.
Henderson?
No.
Vieira?
Yes.
Miranda? Carlson?
Yes.
And Maniscalco?
Yes.
Motion carried with Hurtak, Henderson, and Miranda voting no.
Thank you very much. For items 56 and 57, Councilmembers Clendenin and Carlson, did you review the record?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. Item number 56. Sir, you're muted. Leo, please unmute yourself. No, we can't hear you. Is he muted on his end, or is it us? It's on your end. Do you have can you hear us?
Hear you.
Okay, now we got you. Go ahead, sir, 56.
Oh, sorry about that. Good morning, Chairman and Council. Leo DeBartolome, Development Coordination. Item 56 is AB 22446 for the property located at 1901 East 7th Avenue. The request is for alcoholic beverage sales, large venue classification, beer, wine, and liquor for consumption on premises, and package sales consumption off premises. Site plan modifications were required between first and second readings. Those changes have been made. The plan has been certified, and a copy has been provided to the clerk, and I'm available for any questions.
Any questions for the gentleman? All right, do we have an applicant for item 56? Yes, sir.
Good morning, Colin Rice to the law firm Volder Lundy, 1000 West Cass. I have been sworn. I just want to clarify with Leo, there's no package sales being proposed. I didn't know if that was, just want to make sure we're all clear, no package.
Thank you very much.
Okay. With that, I'm available for any questions. Revisions have been made and submitted. We respectfully request your approval.
Councilmember Hurtak.
This is the one with the restaurant on the roof?
Yes, ma'am.
And was that added to the site plan?
Yes.
The hours?
I can show you the conditions if you like.
Okay, no, I just wanted to double
Yes.
check. I can ask Leo as well, but okay,
Okay.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Is there anything else? If not, is there anybody in the public for public comment on 56? We have a motion closed from Councilmember Clendenin, second from Councilmember Miranda. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Councilmember Hurtak, would you be?
Can I just make a?
Yes, go ahead. Go
You
ahead.
want me to do it after the motion?
No, go ahead. Go.
No, I just want to say I reviewed the record on this. Staff found it inconsistent because of the 250-foot setback, and we waived it. If this was, Ybor is a neighborhood, again, it's a community, and we would not allow this density of alcohol licenses within any other neighborhood. So I'm going to vote no.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. File number AB 2-24-46, ordinance being presented for second reading and adoption, and ordinance approving a special use permit SU2 for alcoholic beverage sales, large venue consumption on premises only, and making lawful the sale of beverages regardless of alcoholic content, beer, wine, and liquor on that certain lot, plot, or tract of land located at 1901 East 7th Avenue, Tampa, Florida, as more particularly described in Section 3, providing that all ordinances or part of ordinances in conflict are repealed, repealing AB 1-16-28, providing an effective date.
We have a motion from Councilmember Hurtak, second from Councilmember Miranda. Please record your vote.
Motion carried with Carlson voting no.
Thank you very much. Item 57.
Thank you again, Council and Chairman. Leo DeBartolome, Development Coordination. Item 57 is AB 22449. This is for the property at 2501 West Busch Boulevard. The request is for alcoholic beverage sales, small venue classification for beer and wine, consumption on premises only. Site plan modifications were required to be made between first and second readings. Those changes have been made, and the plan has been certified and provided to the clerk, and I'm available for any questions.
Any questions? All right, thank you very much. Applicant, Mr. Hudson. Go ahead, sir. Please
Good
say your
morning,
name.
Council. Tyler Hudson for the record. Leo said it well. Happy to answer questions. Thanks.
Any questions for the applicant? Is there anybody in the public that wishes to speak on 57? Motion to close from Councilmember Condon, second from Councilmember Miranda. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Councilmember Miranda, would you mind reading 57?
Chairman, item number 57, file number 8224-49. An ordinance being presented for second reading adoption. An ordinance approving a special use permit SU2 for alcohol beverage sales, small venue, consumption on premise only, and making lawful the sale of beer and wine at or from that location, plot, or tract of land located at 2501 West Busch Boulevard, Unit Number 5A, Tampa, Florida, more particularly described in Section 2, providing that all ordinances or parts of ordinance in conflict are repealed, providing an effective date.
Do we have a second? Second. Second from Councilman Vieira. Please record your vote.
Motion carried unanimously.
Yes, ma'am.
Can I talk about that? I mean, we have 15 minutes. Is it okay if I bring up the rest of the stuff now?
Yeah, we have 58 and
Okay.
59. If we have, yeah, let's see how we do with this. 58. Mr. Brody.
Morning, Council. Carl Brody, Legal Department. Here for first reading on an ordinance creating an event zone for the upcoming Final Four event. If you have any questions, Tony Mulkey, the Director, Department of Parks and Rec, is also here if you have any questions on that.
Thank you. Mr. Shelby, do we take public comment on these items?
Yes, council made a motion that you were going to take, open it for public comment individually on first readings as well.
Okay. Mr. Mulkey, anything to add, or are there any questions from council?
Good morning, Council. Tony Mulkey, Parks and Recreation Director. This is an ordinance that's very similar to all the other national events that we have that kind of establishes guidelines for activations within the public space around the time of the events. This is to protect consumers and also protects the events coming in from ambush marketing, counterfeit merchandise, things like that that get attracted during this. But a lot of it is reinforcing what's already on the books, but just kind of clarifying procedures for any kind of other events that want to come in.
Thank you very much. Is there anybody in the public that wishes to speak on 58?
Second.
We have a motion to close from Councilmember Condon with second from Councilman Miranda. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Councilmember Vieira.
Yes, sir.
58.
Move an ordinance being presented for first reading consideration, ordinance designated a portion of Tampa as an event zone in order to regulate activities from April 2nd, 2025 through April 7th, 2025 in preparation for hosting the 2025 NCAA Women's Final Four, designating geographic boundaries, dates, and times for event zone, regulating and prohibiting temporary outdoor activities, tent signage, and commercial promotion and right-of-way, providing for inspections and permits, providing for First Amendment zones, providing for penalties, providing for definitions, providing for severability, repealing conflicts, providing an effective date.
We have a motion from Councilman Vieira, second from Councilmember Miranda. Since this is first reading, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Motion carried unanimously. Second reading and adoption will be held on March 27th, 2025 at 10 o'clock a.m. in City Council Chambers, 315 East Kennedy Boulevard, Tampa, Florida, 33602, and that's the third floor.
Thank you very much. Item 59, it says see item 71, which talks about Franklin Street. Yes, ma'am, come on up. Please state your name.
Good morning, Council. I'm a Gregory Legal Department. I also have Fed Revolt Parking Director here. Today, we're here for item 59. This is a proposed ordinance on first reading to amend section 15-104 to include the Yellow Brick Road area. This is in response to item number 71, which is Councilwoman Hurtak's motion. It does exactly what the motion has requested, so we are here if you have any questions.
Fed,
Yeah, Fed Revolt, City of Tampa Parking Division's manager.
thank you for taking the 1,000 phone calls from our office. My aide brings your name up all the time, and you're super, super helpful, and thank you for being so responsive to any constituent issues that we have. So just want to publicly say that because you're always there, so thank you very much. Councilmember Hurtak.
Yes, and I want to say thank you for this. Is this also the entire one that we talked about earlier, or is this just this specific one?
This is just specific, sorry, Fed Revolt, City of Tampa Parking Division's manager. This is just specific to adding the Franklin Street.
Okay, and that other conversation will come up later.
That's
Awesome.
correct.
Well, thank you. I want to say I really appreciate you moving forward with this. I look forward to the rest of the parking changes coming forward that will also help other neighborhoods. Thank you.
Is there, yes, sir.
Yeah, I just want to thank Fed and staff and also Councilmember Hurtak for finding this solution. It was a heartbreaking story in this situation, and this is a great solution.
Thank you very much. Is there anybody in the public? Councilmember Henderson? No?
No, just kudos. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
no, but kudos because you came up with a solution and I really, appreciate it, because it's a win.
Yep. Is there anybody in the public that wishes to speak on 59? Can I get a motion to close?
Move to close.
Motion closed from Councilmember Clendenin, second from Councilmember Rand. All in favor?
Aye.
Councilmember Henderson.
Yes, Chair, I move file number E 2025-8, Chapter 15, an ordinance being presented for first reading consideration. An ordinance of the City of Tampa, Florida relating to Chapter 15 parking, Article 2, regulations, permits, penalties, amending Section 15-104, residential parking permit only, providing for repeal of all ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict therewith, providing for severability, providing an effective date.
Second.
We have a motion and a second from Councilmember Miranda. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed?
Motion carried with Vieira being absent at vote. Second reading and adoption will be held on March 27, 2025 at 10 o'clock a.m. in City Council Chambers, 315 East Kennedy Boulevard, 3rd floor, Tampa, Florida, 33602.
Mr. Shelby.
Yes, and this also resolves item 71 on your agenda?
Yes, so move item 71.
Wait.
It's really a report.
Okay, well then never mind.
Just to receive and file?
Receive and file.
Item 71.
All right, we have a motion and a second to receive and file 71. All in favor?
Second.
Aye. Councilmember Hurtak, I have a proposition for you. If we break for lunch now, can we start up at 1:30 with your items that were pulled?
Sure. Okay.
Yeah, because I don't think we'll get it done in 9 minutes.
Giving you a workout today. I apologize. Oh, but wait here, I'll talk to you in just a second, yeah.
Before I break for lunch, Sam, who was just here, is also having a birthday.
Wow.
So we're just going to wish everybody a happy birthday. Happy birthday to Sam. We're in recess until 1:30. Thank you.